jagoffs. Yeah, you're a bunch of jagoffs. Hey everybody, I'm Soul Rose. These are my friends, unfortunately. Welcome back to our continuing game of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. That was a lot really fast. Quick shout. Well, I wasn't ready. I didn't prep myself ahead of time. I apologize.
I assume we left it out.
The word is hard. Kekubo, I think. Thanks so much for the sub. We got a sub like 10 minutes before we started, so I need the shit out of everything. We had a small earthquake.
Not too bad.
Small earthquake. I apologize. Yeah. You know, it was over in a flash.
Thank you for the sub. We do not have a monitor here because of space constraints and logistics.
If you were in chat, post something so I can shoot you the link to the Discord.
Yes.
Sub-only Discord.
And if you're not in chat and watching this on the VOD, just go on to this Twitch channel and whisper it to him.
Yeah, just shoot me a message.
Eventually.
And we will take care of that. Once again, if there are any audio or video issues, just go ahead and throw them in chat, and I will try to make adjustments on the fly while we play.
Is anybody in chat?
There is a cactus.
You are?
I am also in chat.
Okay.
I have it in my...
I
have it on my DM screen. I got it on my DM screen.
Oh man, look at all these Discords trying to yell at me.
Just hanging out. So, with that being said, we had a successful monster hunt yesterday. We hunted some arena monsters. It was a little bit of a joke, ludicrous. We had some fantastic fails on Arch-Tempered Lunastra, as we are wont to do.
Well, one of us wanted.
I mean, I wanted to do it. Someone else did.
Was there a Bro Brigade?
Yes.
We had a terrible tragedy in the Bro Brigade.
Did you let the person die?
Well, we didn't let anything happen. So what happened was we went in 10 minutes.
Has it been like our usuals where we get in there, we try and get to the monster, and they just...
No. So we both jumped off the ledge like dramatic as shit and just arced down with these big greatsword slashes. And then the monster turned around because he knew he couldn't take on the Bro Brigade.
Oh, yeah.
And then he just one-shotted the guy.
It still paints a beautiful picture. What happened was, he had just respawned after carting as we landed, so we followed him out. He went to jump, roared out of the air. He's like, God damn it, I fell off the cliff. I went to jump, was roared out of the air, and I was like, God damn it, I fell off the cliff. And so then realizing how elite our skill was, he's like,
I don't want to.
Well, that he knew what you were there
and
for.
he just fucked this other dude.
Oh,
he hit him once. And we're talking like, I think it was like a 5-star Anjanath. Like it wasn't like even high rank. We were in low rank still, and he just.
Oh jeez.
Well, the guy I think was wearing Anjanath armor, which I think was a bad sign to begin with.
He's like, hey, I'm wearing your corpse.
I was like, no, don't do it.
No.
That should be a hidden mechanic. If you're wearing their armor, they just whoop your ass and just target
like, after you.
I wish.
Or if you get hunted down in a different, like you'll go into a mission and something that you've killed before
just comes in
and fucks with you.
So,
did you see that item I posted in Homebrew Concepts?
No, I didn't. My thing randomly stops and starts sending me notifications.
Dude, I feel the same way. My Discord is full notifications all the time, everything from every channel. And I just saw that you posted something on there on October 12th.
Yeah, I saw you responded to my thing. So if you sub to this channel, you get access to sub on the Discord. We also have a follower Discord, which is in the description of the channel, so if that's something you're interested in. We do post in there as much as we can. Chat, ask questions, be social, if you will. So yeah.
See you there.
What else? We got anything else? There's a D&D related giveaway at 100 followers. Or 10 subs, whichever one comes first. Closer to one than the other, I can tell you that much. Go ahead.
Remind me after the stream. I'm going to talk to you something about Discord.
Discord,
also,
okay.
Forks just keep multiplying over.
Somehow on the
Are they
desk.
yours? Oh man, I don't know why they're.
Can I tell you guys a secret?
We don't eat there.
I threw my dice into this tray at the start of the game and it rolled a 20. It's a
Good
good start.
start.
Just get it out of the way now before
I don't know why they're there.
before bad things happen. So,
And then I picked up more out of my pocket.
Now there's what, 6? 5?
They have babies.
do you guys have anything
We're
else?
forking.
There's forks at one point.
Otherwise, we're gonna go
Occasionally
ahead.
I stream.
Occasionally, Manic streams. Check
Usually
out his
on
channel
Sundays, but no promises because we got a show opening soon.
at Manic
For
Mouthpiece.
now, it's Stardew Sundays until I get tired of it because it's a nice laid back chill game. And then I'm going to play something more.
If you need access to his thing, put it in here. I'm sure he can shoot you an invite to it, or join our Discord, and we can give you access to his Discord.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 2 for the price of 1. It's something you didn't want for something you wanted later.
Maybe it's something you didn't know you wanted.
It's something you did.
And something you probably. Let's be real. Come on now. But with that being said, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks so much for the sub. Shout out. And we are going to jump right into it. Are you guys excited? Ready to start your... I think today should be the last leg of the journey. I think you should be should be arriving today. It's been like two sessions so far, right?
Yes.
Right? Let me just get up and I need so many monster manuals open right now.
Why?
No particular reason.
But you said.
Because the fun has arrived.
I said no
Because of all
particular
the
reason.
things he said.
All the
That's
things
it.
I said
Thank you.
in my head.
Oh, wait.
So with that being said, we'll jump right into the recap and bring it in. I named the title of this episode, The Corpse Brigade Arrives. Regardless of whether or not you get there, the new name has taken over. So there you go. You guys
Yay!
officially named. You can't change it now. If you change it again, all your fame resets at 0.
Well, good thing we have 0 fame.
Yeah, right? Good thing we're already there.
The first one's free.
First one is free. Let's see. Yeah, you want to start that Millicorn quest all over again?
Shit, yeah.
I don't think you do.
It's easier with the ghost character.
It gets easier with money.
Oh yeah.
That's
So last time
That's
on
life.
our adventure, your party continued. The three of you continued to press northwesterly towards the spot on the map that you remember being the Cursed Lands, the sort of popularly named because people don't go in and out of there. They try to avoid the area with all chance.
Just to interrupt one more time.
Obviously.
If you can get me
Hmm.
a high definition picture of that map, I can print it in a large size.
Ooh, let's do that at
And
some
I can
point.
get it laminated and all of those things, so we can hang it up behind you or whatever. And you can literally turn around and go, "We're here."
You guys are here.
Yeah. But yeah, just
Awesome.
again, fucking remind me.
I don't
have a
have
full,
car.
I have a full print service.
What did you say? Oh, yes.
It's fine. Keep going.
Anyway, I won't do it during the break. I will tell you I'm going to do it during the break. Let me get out a card right now to remind myself.
Well, I mean, is it the same as in the book? Because I read it over here.
If you do, then yes, you want to give her...
Pass it over.
Well, you have to roll for the health on it,
Alright.
except for level 1. So if you would like to...
That's all the interruptions for me. I just realized I was like, man, I wish you could point and like if it was laminated, you could draw on it where we were
Yeah,
going.
you're here. Just like... That's the ocean. So the party continued their journey. The three of them making their way towards the area that is referred to as the Cursed Lands. It's more of a popular name for an area that resides in the middle of the mountain range, the Cabela Mountains, that is, at least on the map, drawn to look like it probably sustained a fire or something of that nature. However, popular legend states that people go in there and don't come out, that a village once resided in there and has since gone missing, and no one's heard from them or anything in a long time. So that is where the party elected to go. You guys decided to take a journey there. You avoided further encounter with the T-Rex that you were encountering last time. You fought some wolves. You eventually got caught up, Mr. Theta, trying to avoid remnants from the past. He ran day and night to get there, to regroup with you guys. He was very successful.
Steve Holt.
You guys were beset upon by giant snakes in the middle of the night, and surprisingly took some bites in there. And lastly, as you finished up the last episode of travel, you happened upon a band of fire newt warriors that seemed to be breaking down camp, similar to yourselves, and you engaged them. And I think that's actually where we had just ended, correct? You guys had just finished up your battle. You had collected the spoils from what they were carrying on themselves.
And we were running off because it's too.
Oh, yeah.
The water
Were we
was shaking
running
in the glass.
Yes. You keep seeming to get some attention.
Were we taking these fire new bodies with us? Physical blood?
Yeah,
The other ones?
we collected whatever ones.
We have 2
Yeah.
already.
And we just got 4.
Well, I'm moving the cart because we have fucking.
Can I put 2 on the card?
You got food on
Yeah,
it.
we already had 2 on the card.
We have a big tooth.
Yeah.
And,
Threw 2 of them on.
shark tooth. That's what it was.
Yeah,
2 of these
sharp
new
tooth.
ones? Or 2, the
The
other
new
2
ones we
you
didn't
thought?
have.
Little foot
We
needs to
didn't
get
take
the fuck
one.
out of here.
What?
we only have 2, and
The old
just
ones.
threw. No, they didn't have old ones.
Yeah, we had old ones.
Yeah, there was 2 old
Yeah,
ones.
remember the
Oh,
ones you
was it?
fought?
Yeah, you guys threw 2 of them
The
on there.
ones you saw?
Yeah,
By
we-
yourself? We took those? Because we couldn't figure out how to
Oh,
deal with them
yeah.
without the
Stack
blood
both of them
getting
on there.
cold. So I'll take 2 of these new ones.
You're gonna put 2 of their bodies on the cart?
Yeah.
Okay, so you throw them on there?
Yeah.
No problem. I'm going to get my map out real quick. We
you
were
ready?
on day.
Yes, it is.
And if he's not, deal with it.
I believe this was day.
What was that?
Oh my
Something?
goodness! Something happened.
What?
It said somebody left their soul behind, but I don't have a thing for that.
Is that a sub or is that a fall?
That's fall,
Let me run away.
right?
Yeah, it doesn't show up on here for some reason.
Maybe
I thought it
it's
might
that-
show up
That's
in the chat.
great. Our technology is inferior.
Whoa. Whoa.
We need to get like a tablet that can just run Streamlabs or something.
Or a monitor. It's like over there.
You shut your whore mouth.
What the fuck? What?
We will.
CeeLo Angel.
CeeLo Angel, welcome to the party.
Welcome. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. I hope you enjoy. We are gonna go ahead.
Just started.
It's gonna keep doing it. I'm just gonna like keep running off camera during the thing.
Oh yeah.
It's not like we like you.
Thanks so much for following. I hope you enjoy. There is a link to the follower-only Discord in the channel description. If that's something you're interested in, feel free to post whatever you want, whenever you want. So, you guys continued your journey that way. I think we were on day 14.
13. I think.
Also known as Faye, for one of your members.
Yeah.
So you know who that is. Okay, excellent. Well, welcome. I hope you enjoy the show as we go. Day 14 puts you roughly, you're about to get to the point where Ma and Lucrezia, where you guys know that you're going to have to start crossing the mountain itself. You're going to have to find a way to juxtapose over. You're basically, right now, if you think about it, you're kind of on the other side of the mountain. So you're actually going to have to cross over the mountains to get into the valley that makes up
Is there
the
anything
Curselands.
on the other, like any? I know if there are any like other villages or anything on the other side, or like big cities or anything that would
In this area.
on the other side, like that would facilitate making a pass here or somewhere along here that they would have to
Make
get
a history
to.
check.
Oh god. Okay.
Is that cocked?
I don't know.
That's cocked, yes.
Oh.
Very lucky that's cocked. Roll it again. There was a side up.
I don't know. Super. 8.
8. Nothing immediately calls out to you. There's a stiff breeze and
Alright.
Does any of that breeze smell of cattle or fire?
no, smells good. So,
Cool.
yeah, you know, there's nothing particularly,
We're on a road, correct?
no.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
No.
really cool.
You guys have basically been
Oh,
making
that's
your
really
own
cool.
path.
With a magical sword.
There's not like an old road or anything here. We're not following a
No.
trail. We're just setting out towards the sun.
If there was a road here, it would be tens of 20s of years old, so it wouldn't have
Gotcha. It
lasted.
would have been a dirt road anyway. And
Nobody comes this way
no comments
intentionally.
on it. Gotcha.
So-
Well, thank you.
Well,
Yeah, vote.
Should we try to look to see if there's a pass or something along here?
Yes. That
Okay.
is how you cross mountains.
Well, like,
It's important for crossing mountains.
I just don't know if there'd be a reason to make a pass, but we could look.
I mean, once there was, and if there's a pass isn't going to crumble as quickly as a road will.
You know, allegedly,
What?
supposedly there was a village out there. Nobody can really confirm.
No, we've confirmed that there's a village there. A village that no one goes to. It's supposed to be scary and haunted.
I don't
and
think
people
they would
spend
map
time
it
there
if it
anymore.
were nothing. You know?
Well, no, people map nothing all the time.
Absolutely.
Are there?
They call them
Have the
oceanographers.
stops slowed down?
Make a perception check, please.
No.
Ginger the Dragon,
Sorry,
thanks so much for the follow.
Is that another one?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Nice.
Welcome.
People I know.
People he knows.
Excellent.
Bring them all. to us.
Frienderman. Also known as Levi for one of your members.
One of the
I-
others. Just call it out.
Don't call him out. Do it. Anyway.
11.
11. You, as everyone's kind of discussing the possibility of there being a road and stuff, you don't seem to hear anything nothing immediately strikes you, which is a good thing because you know that thing's not very stealthy.
Yeah.
It's pretty loud, so no, you don't hear any noises like that.
Cart, right? Well, not horse.
I think we have.
It's like oh, we don't hear anything. Whole cart like flips over.
Oh.
Ah! So
I think
So-
we have a couple hours before that thing catches up. So.
I say we continue on.
Is this the next day? Or the same day?
it's the same day. I'm giving you guys some time to continue pressing
Okay.
before we start skipping ahead.
So, what is the terrain look like? What do we
So right now you're currently buttressed up against the side of of a mountain. Of the Cavella mountain range is to your left-hand side. You've been kind of sticking.
Is this a steep arch, or is it? Or a
Yeah, you're looking at like
grade, or-
steep grade with rocky outcroppings. The right-hand side is think of it like northeast. You have trees coming down off the mountain that are starting to level out into a forest, into the Orndor forest, which you're at the north end of right now. And at the closer to the mountains, the forest becomes denser, whereas you know that the further out it goes, it begins to become like sparse, and the trees give decent distance to look beyond.
So these are like fuzzy mountains, not nomad mountains.
Correct.
Yes.
As you go further up, they do begin to sort of peter out because you know that whatever cursed lands area, at least in this area, is mostly burnt
So
trees.
we're following the mountains northwest, right?
So if you're you're going northwest, but the mountains here, you guys are still on the flat plain going this way.
And then which way we have to turn in order to go down?
You're gonna have to go left over. You're gonna have to find a way to
so
get
we have
through.
to go further to closer to true west. Or,
Correct. Closer to true west.
Wow, that's a really shitty map. You are not wrong. So if we were to turn left right now and
And-
head up the mountains,
Yes.
would the cart go?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
It's too steep of an incline.
That's what I think. So we'll have to look for a path.
Alright, while you guys look for a path, I have an
No.
idea that might help us out.
In order to make a path up these mountains, we'd have to do,
Go for it, Tim.
what do you call it?
Oh, back
Yeah, there's a name for those. Paths.
Switchbacks?
Yes, I've heard that before. Switchback trails. And
So that's what you're looking at right now?
Usually 4 times as long. Better map than her map.
That's just the side.
Mine has places on it.
There's places on it.
That's
Does
just a
it?
stick figure. Yeah. This is an orc tribe out here. And then this is the forest and the mountains.
There's an orc tribe out there? Are we headed towards the orc tribe?
Not really.
You would have already passed. They are settled in the mountains themselves. They are already. You've already passed where their tribe is.
We should
Though
look for a
you're in
place-
technically in hunting
We should look
grounds.
for a place where it looks like others have crossed before, because
Yes.
there will be a place, because when there are mountains, people pass them.
Okay.
I'm gonna
That's what I want.
pop off the cart though.
Well, maybe
Okay.
the orc tribe.
And I want to look for
I
some
perfect.
dry.
Man, I didn't even make it
plants.
to this table.
didn't think it would. You should
Some
have
dried
airplane
plants?
it.
I've
Yeah,
taken
that
arrows,
are
I've
kind of
taken eyes
pungent.
out.
Like smelling herbs.
Yes.
What's your objective here?
My objective is to try to cover up the smell of the dead corpses we have in the back of the cart.
Yeah, make a survival check.
Rub some dirt on it.
Rub more corpses on them.
Okay, that's what you're looking at. Okay, so you guys came from Alava, which is over here.
Mhm.
You guys have moved north to get around the
Show the camera.
the northern edge of the mountains here.
Right.
This is god awful. Why would
Towards
we
your
even do
face
this?
more.
Hello.
Yeah.
I hope you guys can see this. I'm
Where's
so
that
sorry.
sign?
Yeah.
But anyway, so you guys went around north. So there is a string of mountains that go basically follow the same path as you, and then the mountain range gets thicker in this area, and this is the death spot you're trying to go to. So you have to basically go and then find a way over the mountains to get to the other side.
Thank you. That's actually very helpful. I appreciate that. You want to kick it some more?
That was me.
So
I got a 19.
19, absolutely, you'd be able to find some a combination of sort of like fungi and you find a number of plants that you know that if you turn them into a paste, it'll release a certain smell that'll mask the scent. It'll be pretty rough, but nothing you can't handle.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit in the back
And work on
paste
that.
and then start coating the bodies.
Okay.
Cool, thank you.
I'd like to take time. I'm going to while we're going. I'm going to spend most of my attention on the mountain range itself as well. I'm just going to look for anywhere that looks like an extreme valley in the peaks, or maybe somewhere it looks like there was an old road, or anything that looks like previous human interaction, like a sign or a stack of stones or a standing stone or something like that. That may.
Can I help him with that?
Yeah, whoever wants to make a perception check at advantage, go ahead and do so.
Yes.
You're driving?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so the day here is getting colder. The further north you move, the colder the terrain begins to come. But the closer you get to the mountains, the darker everything gets. With the density of the trees combined with the shadow of the mountain, you see it is hard. It's beginning difficult to see, and the cold begins to linger longer and longer.
Oh, I know.
Um,
24.
24. You keep your eye open for most of the day, actually, and between you and Lucrezia kind of switching back and forth, and occasionally you have to pop down to look through bushes and rock outcroppings to see if you can actually find
This is like a turn?
yeah. However, together probably about 3 or 4ish in the afternoon, about the time that your attention span begins to wane off onto something, you actually do notice that it's a very narrow and treacherous path, but it begins to cut upwards, and then it begins to cut around into what is like a mountain pass, like very narrow sort of space.
Is it wide enough for the car?
Yes.
Does this look of interest?
Yeah, we might have to walk Rupert up it, but sure we can make it.
As you kind of bring the cart to a stop and jump out to take a look at it, you do notice that it is very narrow, but you've navigated narrow paths before on the Cavella Mountains when you guys did the recovering the carts when you were attacked by the manticores. So it's not outside your purview. But as you look up, you notice that on each sides of the ravine, most of the trees that kind of like stick out sparsely from these like sort of rock ledges and stuff, they're all dead. They're like long dead and kind of like drooping and sagging down with like petrified almost looking wood. A heavy, cool breeze just like down the mountain pass every now and again where you just get buffeted by this like chilly air.
On the plus side, it means we're downwind of anything at the top of the path.
What do you think, Sam?
You're not eating the paste, are you?
No, what?
Tastes bad.
I'm gonna give you the shit.
Blah, blah, blah.
I have tobacco. Do you want tobacco? I
Right.
have. I'm going to go through my pouch and I'll
I've been driving a car all day today. I thought
Tobacco.
that was appropriate.
tobacco.
Do you think
You can
that?
Oh,
smoke
man.
it or you can chew it.
I will do neither.
You gotta have the bowl,
Yeah.
it's not the dead body.
I'm going to wad
Just
this up.
licked it right off the corpse.
I'm going to wad this up into a ball.
Shove it in your face.
Carting all day.
Big teeth filled with little tobacco shavings.
Do you think that the fire newts and lizards and stuff are using that? You know, weird.
It's a cold breeze, so no.
So, they're not all.
Those ones are red.
No, yeah, they're all
Even the other ones, the non-fire ones.
All of the lizard people I've seen are fire ones.
the lizard folk. No, but the fire newts are fire newts for a reason.
Well, I mean, could it be? Yes. Could there be a T-Rex up there? Also yes. But realistically, it's cold up here. If anything, they're going to travel down into the woods to make it easier for them to dodge the cold winds.
Also, let me check these furs I have stretched out, see if we could actually use them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's such a good idea.
Keep ourselves warm.
Alright, Dan, do you want to take care of leading Rupert out? Or do you want to go ahead of us and cut down stuff with the Morelli's?
I'll go ahead.
Alright. Then I'll pop down, grab the Rupert's reins from the front, and just kind of lead him up, giving Tam some space to get up there and like cut stuff down out of the way.
So wait, who has the better animal handling for detail?
Question, do you want me to take the rear or the front?
Rear.
You sure?
Or rear with her. In case stuff falls out, you guys can help keep it up.
But I could see better, I think, than everyone here.
We're gonna
Do you want me in
We're
front
on
looking
time
down?
stuff down a little bit.
To the cart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe, but hear me out. I want him up front so he can cut things out of the way of the cart because he's got Marvelous.
I'm gonna pull out the ghost blade that I have, and
Does that work?
Try to cut
you
some
wouldn't
out.
know it, but it doesn't.
Okay.
I mean, well, no, because if you're up there cutting stuff down, you're gonna be.
Ben is also brown.
Just roll into the
Theta in the very front, scouting.
That's what I think.
Behind him, a couple feet, cutting stuff down.
Oh yeah,
I'll
because he's
lead Rupert.
quiet, so if he wants to scout up front.
Quiet and I see her. I'm actually incredibly quiet.
Yeah,
Alright.
super quiet.
Luke, bring up the back?
Yeah, I'll bring up the back.
Alright.
And I'm currently tying stuff down in the cart actually.
Yeah,
Just
or-
fall out in case it's-
Oh, my bag's in there with there's like another 50 feet of rope if you need it.
How much rope do you think we're going to need to do that?
It's not gonna come into play. It's fine. Uh oh, you can see the mic now.
Do you want to be able to see the mic now?
No, but it's fine. We'll make adjustment. Does that make it better? I hope it makes it better for you
Hopefully.
guys.
Let
So,
us know if the audio is trash. We appreciate your input.
they're saying that it's
Have a lot
difficult.
online.
It was difficult to hear these guys.
I do talk really well.
Speak better.
Yeah, that is a lower
What's that?
range over there.
Well, we're just gonna adjust the.
You know, guys.
All right. Well, I heard that. I heard that.
With the fairy tale first.
I hope that is better. They're just not projecting. Okay, I got you.
Shame.
All right. With that being said, moving down the line, you are securing items to the cart.
I am way out front scouting.
When I'm
Okay.
done,
I'd say probably 20 feet ahead of the party.
when
Okay.
I'm done securing stuff, though, I'm gonna keep up the back and look out the
Stealth
back.
check.
Okay.
Can you make a stealth check?
Do you
What's
want
up?
me to make a stealth check, or do you want to make one?
No, you can make one. I'll take over later.
Thank you.
Alright, so him 20 feet, him 10 feet ahead of me.
Okay.
It'll be Theta 20 feet,
How about
Tam 10 feet. Me
Yeah.
leading the cart with
Okay.
Rupert
There's a little
and Lou at the back.
hump under it.
March
That's a
forward.
6 hump
Okay.
under it.
Sounds good. I need anybody who is stealthing to make a stealth check. Are you just like taking the mid bit?
I'm just taking the mid bit and just hacking stuff off, throwing it down.
And you're driving the cart.
Well,
I need you to make a
Our numbers
Hey.
are going to be different.
land vehicle check. So it is going to be your dexterity plus proficiency.
No,
Are you proficient in land
I
vehicles?
believe so. I'm
If-
thinking.
Right through your
Yes.
shoulder there.
Trying to
If
get
you
that.
are proficient, then yes, you can use your proficiency bonus. But it's going to be dexterity to see if you can react fast enough.
That's going to be 20 plus 17 plus 3 plus proficiency, which is
Another 3.
3.
23.
23.
23. So you guys begin to guide the cart up. What is your
19.
19? So you scurry ahead a little bit. What's up? 17. Are you in the very back?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I tied everything down, and then after that, when I'm done tying stuff down, I'm gonna get off the cart and look at the back.
Okay. You're gonna walk backwards.
Yeah.
Got it.
Guard.
Rear guard.
And
Rear
I'm going
guard.
to make X-beat noises to try and lure Rupert. It's okay, buddy. Oh,
Okay.
Kawaii.
All right. So, with that being said, Theta, you scurry up ahead to get a good look on what's going on. You're the first one who catches a lot of these, like, sort of like wind gusts. It seems like almost like you get those
I'm
pressures.
also cracking open anything olfactory I have to make sure I can smell if anything's coming down the line.
That's fine. So as you,
No, it's, monocular, so it's just it's a single little
the
nostril.
little nostril
My
opens up.
smell port.
Maybe some whooshy wind.
You're the first one who catches these wind buffets, these cold breezes that gain intensity as they come down the mountain pass. It seems like whatever wind is kind of like collecting up above, just like catches this at the right moment and just down. It doesn't really affect you. It's not like some sort of thing, but it is a interesting phenomenon.
As the wind's hitting me, does because I'm patterns, I love. Does there seem to be a cadence to it, or does it seem relatively random?
It seems relatively random.
Okay.
It's just whenever it catches, and you can usually hear it. It's precursed by a large,
But
a.
it's the mountains pulling the wind down to the valley. It's not like something up there creating
Correct.
wind or anything.
Right. It's just
Okay.
it seems random.
I have
Thank
a
you.
question. You were checking the wolf fur. Was it ready for us to wear?
Checking the wolf fart.
Wolf fur.
Fur. I have 11 pelts that are strung up.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I helped with that.
Were they ready for us to wear?
Don't think so. Usually takes about a month for.
It's gonna take a couple days at least to even dry out.
Yeah.
Well, it'll take a little
Should
bit
we
less
put
to
them
dry
on
out
Anyway, if it gets too cold.
If it
potentially.
gets too cold, we can just stuff them under our clothes.
Who has? You have the axe beak card. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for the axe beak, please.
Oh my god.
And I need the two of you to make wisdom saving throws for the griffins.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Oh no, I don't know.
Oh, because
I'm scared.
it's blasted lands.
12.
Oh, Griffin.
12.
That's great. Your griffin feels very
Wisdom
confident.
saving throw?
What's its wisdom?
13.
No, it's not enough.
Wait. Maybe what are the modifiers?
Plus 1.
Okay.
Plus 1. You should know this
I
by
don't
Which
fucking
is
know.
easy math.
Okay, 6.
6,
5.
5, and then 12. So as the gusts of wind begin coming down, Theta's up ahead, Tam in the middle. You're driving. You're the first one to catch that the axe beak's head kind of every time that there's like a blast of wind, it's like tilting its head away from the wind. And then as you're going, you feel like the occasional rocking of the cart as it like kind of like stutter steps and stops, and it's like trying to like push away. And as you're both standing there, Lucrezia is the first one to notice both griffins just.
Oh man, they took the fuck off?
The axe beak is shying.
Yeah, it's shying away from whatever. It doesn't seem to stop. It's still going forward, but it is seemingly not a fan of wherever you're heading.
Hey, nobody likes wind.
I'm sure this means nothing.
However, both griffins do take flight.
Okay. Well,
They kind of go two different directions.
Whoa. Come on, Robert.
It's just. But as you guys continue to press forward through the mountain pass, you notice that the night or the light in here is much more difficult, having two different extreme angles at which the sun can only meet you at some points, and already being past noon. It's beginning to get darker much faster than normal because of the requisite shadows. So ultimately, though, you find yourself in this narrow ravine where there's nowhere to go for the rest of the day as you're traveling. And you being in the front, you see no signs that you're going to be crossing this out of this ravine anytime soon.
Sure, it's pretty contained. I'd say about maybe. How long have you been traveling down this ravine, maybe?
So you probably hit there around 3, 4-ish in the afternoon. It's going to be the rest of the day that you're in here.
Okay, so I'd say every 2 or 3 hours, I'll make my way back to them,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll start ranging out a little further each time, and just keep a healthy distance between. But I'll come back and let them know. Just the canyon looks relatively narrow. It doesn't show any signs of opening. We're going to be in this wheel rut for a while, but I think we'll make it through. It doesn't show signs of stopping, but it's clearly a pass that we've made. So that's a plus if nothing else. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and look out again, and I'll give them
Thank you, Dana.
routine updates.
Okay.
Take an action to dash out to like 50 and then hang out at 50.
Every couple breaks on. You want to take a break?
No, this is fine.
All right.
I'm keeping an eye out too for any life, including small life, like lizards or anything like that.
Passive perceptions from you guys?
14.
12.
16.
16. The two of you notice that as you kind of go on your journey, you notice the occasional scraping of what appears to be like carts, or at some point in the past, you do see these sort of like iconic marks where the road kind of dips awkwardly. And I need you to make another handling check. There are parts where the carts seem to
If I
dip.
see parts like that, I'll wait at them when they come up and be like, watch the road here, and then continue on.
You can make with advantage, sir, because of that.
17 and way better. 19, 22.
Okay. As he calls them out to you, as he like stops and you see him like kind of waiting.
And any big rocks and things like that.
And he kind of points out that, like, hey, like the road's a little loose here and stuff like that. You take a little bit more care and you do feel like on occasion the cart begin to one side, and you pick it up, like you basically just you time your like giddy ups to be when the cart feels like it's going to slip, and you have the axe beak kind of pick up its pace to avoid like listing into like a
now that we're in this
hole.
ravine, is Rupert still like shying?
Oh yeah, he does not like whatever's in front. He's not a fan of.
Yay.
So he's just. It's difficult, but it's not unmanageable.
He's not fighting it. He's not happy.
Yeah, he's not
No
happy
way.
at all.
We all.
So, as your day continues, it winds down into the darkness, and as night finally settles in, it's much darker, much earlier into the evening. What's up?
Nothing.
Okay. It becomes much darker, much faster, and now you have you get no sunlight or anything, because the closer you move into the mountains, you notice that the sky overhead is beginning to darken considerably as you have like rolling clouds beginning to come in, and even further in you can kind of hear the faint like sound of thunder, probably beyond the mountains on the other side.
Now that we're in this pass, I would also like to keep an eye out for anything, any rocks that look like they might be interested in coming down at us.
Okay, make a perception check.
Yeah.
Snazzy front rock friends.
Hey, that was much better. You tried to give me a 5.
They're not today.
Perception check, 24.
24. Looking up, there are a couple places that look precarious. And as you guys set up camp for the evening, you intentionally attempt to avoid those direct paths.
100%.
However, looking ahead, it does seem to get worse the further out. Like you just take a minute to go. Oh man! As you notice that these rocky outcroppings from these just different areas seem to be more common.
So we're setting up camp for the night?
Yeah, you'd
I will
have
help
to.
with the fire.
What are you using to make fire? Because there's no wood in this area.
You said there were dead trees.
Yeah, that was back earlier in, like at the entranceway, was where like the trees begin to die out, but there's nothing beyond. Now you're in Mordor, basically. You know, you're in.
Nothing at all?
There are no trees nearby. No, you might be able to find debris on the ground, like remnants.
I'll spend time to scout for anything burnable.
Make a survival check.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Survival, huh?
Yeah.
What's my survival? Ooh, that's nice.
19. Climbing up some of the little faces and finding some of the little perches where at one point probably maybe a tree once resided, you manage to find like remnants of roots that you have to yank out of the ground, but they're dried and brittle, and you think they're probably going to burn relatively quickly. Mm-hmm. It's not something that's going to last you the whole evening.
Sure.
But yeah, you do find enough to last you maybe like an hour or two into the evening.
It's gonna be a dark night.
So you guys begin to
Could we use a torch?
I mean, yeah. You can set a torch on the ground, light that on fire. So we build a good old campfire.
To do that.
Okay. 2 torches to add to it. You just throw them on the old pyre. Okay. So you guys you take the axe beak off from the
I'm gonna
cart itself.
spend
How
time
can I
just
burn
calming
it?
down.
I give up.
Okay. So you sit with him when he's taken from the bit and bridle. He immediately begins moving to like the back side of the cart, further down the path to leave basically. And you're just like, oh, okay. And you like sit him down, and he's just like staring down the pathway.
You should hobble that animal or attach to the
Feet
cart
behind
to
us.
sleep.
I
This
would
is my
like
blanket,
to
though.
He's
put out the. Actually,
Yeah, maybe
how
he,
far across is the path?
yeah.
You're looking at maybe just wide enough to fit the cart in it.
You know,
So
like,
look at, like, 4
whenever
feet, maybe
you see
5.
birds
Yeah.
fly away from an area.
Then
Probably something like that.
I
Speaking of
will
birds.
go behind us. Yeah, go behind us and set up 2 hunting traps, but like not right beside each other, like one. Like
Just
kind of
give it a
stagger a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Hey Lou, where's big ones? Our group.
Kitty kitties? I don't know. They look freaked out and then they took off.
I don't like that. Guys, the animals know something we don't. That worries me.
The griffins?
Griffins, Rupert all day has been shot.
Rupert's
Do
upset!
I know what they call this area? I don't think I would, right?
I mean, they've been talking about it. They told you in the beginning that they called it the Cursed Lands.
Oh, okay.
When you first met back up with him, he's like, "We're going towards Cursed Lands." I got all jazzed.
Well,
So excited.
I mean, they are called the Cursed Lands. I imagine that they're not friendly. I imagine they're not nice. And I imagine that there's not a lot of better places to hide a person.
Right. Well, my stipulation is I hope certainly that it's just animals being animals and they're afraid of
Well,
the curse, but I'm concerned that maybe there's actually something physical and violent ahead of us. So
Yeah.
just be extra cautious
are
on
you
the watch.
saying that you don't think a queen would be hiding out there?
No. A queen would not be hiding out there.
That's,
But if you wanted to hide a queen
it might be a
somewhere,
good spot then.
it would be a very good spot.
Absolutely excellent.
Look what it's taken us. Look what we've gone past. Look at the area. If
There's a
you
T-Rex.
needed to hide someone, we've been assaulted by giant snakes and wolves, and more recently fire newts. And they may be indigenous, but honestly, it may just because
But do
there's
you
a
think-
war on.
So, but there's nothing else around here, and I don't know if that area is sustaining. Wouldn't there be signs unless they took different? I think I brought this up before that, like, unless they took different paths to get supplies.
Additionally, they can teleport and fly.
Yes.
We could have flown on
Yeah, I could teleport.
your bird cats.
Yeah,
But,
No.
well, that's terrible. But, they're upset. Those are formidable animals.
Wish.
But, pay no mind to that.
Sorry, it's just funny. Oh, they're upset. Well, that's not good.
But if you were to hide someone, I mean, you would do well to cover your tracks. Like the people who are hiding her aren't putting her in a cellar
Yeah.
somewhere. You know, they're not going to run a cart to her every week.
Can I don't know. I was gonna say, how long ago did this become a cursed land? Was it like around when the queen came here or not? But I don't know.
Before the queen was.
But how would I know that? I don't think I would know.
From what you know, I mean, it's just kind of always been that way.
Even before.
You don't know when the town was settled.
From the long ago.
Like I thought
It was
maybe
in
it's
the
like, oh, it's the
before
curse,
times.
keep away, so they could hide things like that.
I mean, that's a good spot too, but additionally, an easier spot would be, well, there's a cursed place. I'm willing to bet that, you know, if I was going to hide somebody, I'd go right over there, that black spot on the map that nobody wants to visit.
I just want to tell everybody,
As
when
opposed-
we're doing our watches, stay alert, and if something seems off, wake everybody up and assume.
Also, I would like to point out that we are in a very bad position. We are at the bottom of a V with big rocks up at the top of it.
Oh.
And I pushed us here because there's not as many loose-looking big rocks. But
Did you see
if perhaps the ogres own part of this place and they decide that, or orcs or whatever they are,
Well,
the
I'd be
big
more
ones.
worried about giants.
Yes, giants as well. But if they decide that this place is theirs, it would be very simple. Like giants can throw very far, but they wouldn't need
Giants,
to.
was it?
They would just go, ugh,
That's
and
an
then they
area.
would roll down upon us.
Nothing you know of.
Not that you know of.
Heard they throw rocks though.
But additionally, and something else that we should be mindful of as we continue on, I was scouting the area, and it's a bit too dark to see out there now. But once, probably after about another 100 yards or so, it becomes rockier and a little more precarious. If the winds pick up, or if there's a slight earth tremor, or if dragonflies overhead, we should be aware of the possibility of rocks coming down at our position and be ready to adjust accordingly.
Have we seen any like rocks that have fallen?
There's been rocks just kind of like littering all over,
Okay.
It's a very
especially
Yeah.
along the pathway, big and little. You've had to make your way around a couple, but with Theta's help, you haven't careened in any of them.
Honestly, that was probably some of the rougher spots because you would have to go up on a wheel.
Does it look muddy up there?
Muddy? Not that you've seen. You haven't seen any signs of water or
This
anything.
is a very deserted land. And also, the only wood that I was able to find on this near your campfire is their roots. And some of these roots are deep, but they were dry through and through. I don't think they're all dead
Yeah.
Wow.
because there's no water.
There aren't mountains like, isn't that where water comes from?
Sometimes, if there's a glacier.
Can.
So what's wrong with these mountains?
Well,
There's no glacier.
Lou, at some point there may have been water, and it has since dried up, and these trees are,
Is that weird?
Also, a lot of times, a
Hmm?
place...
Is that
No, not at all. I mean, there's barren lands all over the place.
It's not weird that they're dead. It's weird that they're like twisted for no reason. They
A
seem
lot
to
of
be
times-
growing, pointing. As you look at them now, not only do they're dead, which is they're just dead. However, they seem to be growing away from the path you're going.
Well, I
And,
mean, if you're
twisted
concerned
and-
about that, the reason that plants typically grow away from things, there's two reasons. One is sunlight. If the sun were to rise in the bottom of this, which we're
Does it?
going south,
No.
no, sun to
Yeah.
southwest. So that's a little odd. But
That's a little.
the
I
wind,
just like how he keeps throwing out these tidbits, like that's weird.
the wind comes down this path. They are pointing away from the path. It only makes sense that as the wind blows. Well, if you want to be weird about it, but I don't think evil truly exists.
Only in the indifference of good men.
Good beings. Thank you.
You're right.
Ooh.
I apologize.
Oh God.
I know what you're talking about. So
What-
you got to roll.
What
what
a
money you're gonna have.
reaction!
You could just be doing that to do it. We're gonna die.
I-
He's just rolling the fuck.
Shit, I wanted to do something.
I'm-
Now I'm scared. I can't remember
Now
what.
let's start. I'm going to take first watch and I'm going to make a target of myself.
Mhm.
So we'll see what happens. I'm pretty nimble.
I wanna. I'll tell you that I set up some traps down that way. So
Oh,
careful.
good. I'm not worried about what's coming behind us. I'm worried about.
I didn't know if I
What
should
might
set
be
one
ahead
up here and one up there.
I don't. I mean, it's not a bad plan, but I figure we post someone at the head of the group, and then if something comes from the tail of the group, we'll probably hear its surprise.
Actually, maybe we shouldn't put those behind us.
Which we could.
Right in front of us. Only
See, I
because.
don't
Only
know.
because.
I'll go back.
I
No.
listen, hold on. Hear me out. My reasoning being, if Rupert gets startled and runs away,
we don't want to hobble him.
Do any of
If
us?
the Griffins decide to come up and join us, we don't want to hurt them either.
That's a really good point that I didn't consider
Did
at all.
anybody have anything jingly on?
I can't have something jingly.
Aside from
Keys.
money.
Armor.
No, no,
His
no.
armor. Ching, ching,
No,
ching,
I
ching.
wanted if we
What
could
would you
take.
like to jingle?
I want to see if we can take like, cause there's
Some
trees.
string and an alarm.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
but
I don't.
to be fair,
Still no trees.
yeah, no trees.
Yeah.
There's rocks.
You
So there's
passed them.
rocks we could put.
Yes, but however, anything that's going to come upon us in the night probably can see better in the dark than we can. Definitely can see better in the dark than I can.
Let me find out.
And if we, well, I mean, you do that, it's whatever. But I think that a line strung across the road is easily that. I have some things.
I don't have any. I mean,
I have
something that
horseshoes.
could wake everybody up.
I have,
yeah, it's gonna be loud.
I have horseshoes.
Oh, don't worry, it's loud.
Wait, what do you have?
Oh, I have a horn. Like a.
Yeah.
I don't. Knowing what I've heard of
We
mountains,
should
I think
do
that
that.
blowing a horn in this space would be a bad idea.
We don't
Oh,
need
yeah,
that
it would
way
be.
back.
But it'd wake everybody up.
Additionally, I have seen magicians in the past cast a spell that makes a loud noise, and I think we should avoid that at all costs.
I don't have any of that.
That's
I'm aware of that, but I think they can make it a quiet noise just inside their heads too.
No, I understand that. I was talking about a different spell that
Oh.
makes a loud noise that echoes throughout a chamber.
You know, I heard the heroes did that in the movie too.
I wouldn't know about that. I've seen statues, but I haven't heard much about them.
Have you seen
Oh.
statues?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's seen statues. Everybody got statues. Statues of dates.
But they've erected statues.
I could always just
To
do
you
bird-
guys?
Action figures.
I could always just
You
do
guys.
bird
The
calls.
other group.
Okay.
Do bird
I'm a
calls.
celebrated woman now.
All right. So who's taking first watch?
I am.
Theta?
I hand Theta my staff of bird calls.
Oh, do you want me to move the traps really
If
quick
you see
before we
something,
start
just do a
this?
bird call.
Okay,
Yes.
You just have to point and think of a type of bird.
I'm gonna
What's
take
the
the
type of
traps
bird?
and just
Fly
put
a
what's not
finch.
instead staggered.
A raven.
Finch.
Yeah.
Oh, I know a raven. It'll be a raven.
Okay.
I know that.
So go ahead and make a. What is your passive perception? You said.
16. But my plan, so I don't have dark vision, so I'm gonna put myself. I'm gonna go out about 30 feet from the group,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna pull out Balvin, and I'm gonna tie his hair off to my thing. I'm gonna say light,
Have you seen
so he
it?
turns on, and I'm gonna shine it straight up the path.
Okay.
No.
Damn, can you use that?
Yeah, I've been using it the whole time.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Who's doing the next watch?
Sorry.
So you guys settle in to go to sleep. As you stand out there, staff,
Yeah,
the occasional,
staff ready to point, and the picture of a raven firmly burned into my head.
the occasional buffet of wind strikes you. You hear the occasional shifting of rocks, that occasionally
Little one.
as it skitters off the side of the mountain.
Who's
The night is dark,
And full of quiet. It's
full of
delightful.
eerie quiet. You just get the howl of the wind occasionally, the rolling of thunder somewhere far off, probably further in the mountains.
And then the
And-
bird calls.
Lightning
Nothing.
strikes. He did say it was lightning.
You head back and you go poke Maw with the staff of bird calls, and then you pop a squat down.
Have a bird call. Think a bird call.
Okay.
Think bird. Point at it. Like
I'll,
a finch.
I'll do the third one.
Or a
Okay.
I'm not
raven.
gonna use the staff though. I'll give it.
Or it's like-
In between, I'll come back and give it to Tam.
I would like to find a spot. I'm assuming it's way too dark for dark vision to be like super useful.
Super useful, yes.
So I want to find a place where I can overwatch our camp,
Mm-hmm.
and then I want to just kind of focus more on listening and see if I can hear anything like walking down.
Make a perception check, please.
Shit.
8. So you actually, first off, make an athletics check to see if you can get up to the side and kind of perch yourself up in it.
8.
8. You don't get as high as you want after a couple failed slips, and then you hear the rocks like down, and then you look to see if you woke anybody up, and then you're like, oh. And you end up just abandoning going high enough up. But you get it maybe like 3 feet off the sort of path on the incline. You find a place to kind of lock your ankles in and kind of put your back to the wall and act incognito for the most part. And as you're sitting there, you keep your ears and your eyes open. Yawn a couple of times because it's dark and you're tired. You get woken up in the middle of the night, and then a single ray of moonlight kind of through the canyon for a minute. It lights it up, and almost for one second, it's kind of peaceful and just clear and dark. And as your eye catches something off to the upper left hand side on a higher outcropping, you just see the silhouette of a woman, stark naked, hair blowing in the breeze, and she's just kind of sitting there.
Hot?
Oh my god.
From your perspective, you get probably like a lithe or more athletic build, maybe even like elven in nature. Long legs that just kind of kick off the side.
Fucking Freudian going
And she's
on.
just like sitting there. And then as you're kind of like sitting there and you look down, you look back up, just in that brief moment, you can hear like. And then the light disappears and goes away, and you're joined again by pitch darkness. And that's it. And then closer towards the end of your watch, as you begin skittering down the couple, I need you to make one more athletics check. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Make an acrobatics check to get down.
Oh, that was good.
Well, I'm good at acrobatics.
Okay.
Fuck it, like 24.
24. As you definitely prepare yourself to jump down, there's minimal sort of like, and as you kind of stay low and you kind of keep that, that like creepy, like, oh, it was up in that direction, so I'm going to keep my eyes up there. You go to wake up the third watch, which is Lucrezia, and you just hear this. And then it's gone. You wake up Lucrezia?
Yeah, I'm gonna violently shake her.
Okay. Just violently, just.
Eyes locked up there. Grab her head. I'm gonna put your head right next to mine and point you looking at where I'm looking at.
What are you looking at? I can't see.
There was a point where moonlight came out. There was somebody sitting up there, and I just heard some flapping.
Are you tired?
No.
Oh.
We're on this side.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Spooky shit.
Did the lady have wings?
Not when I saw her. It wasn't a great look. It was like moonlight.
I couldn't tell if she was lithe or athletic.
I mean, she had nice thighs.
Oddly specific.
There's a thigh man?
Just learning a lot about Ma in this brief changeover.
It doesn't matter, Lou. The important part is spooky stuff. Keep your eyes.
Can I borrow your lantern?
Yeah.
I'll go to sleep. Okay.
Look back
Okay.
up there one more time.
Take a brief, and then you lay down. Okay. I'm sorry. What's your passive perception?
It's 12, but I would like to go out a couple feet past the traps.
Mm-hmm.
You move him to the front, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if we had said that or not.
Yeah, we moved him.
And I want to set the lantern out there
Mm-hmm.
so that if anything starts coming this way, if there's like shadows, but also so I can see a little bit. But I'm gonna keep it hooded.
Lou, it is not a hooded one. It's a bullseye one, so it goes like out to one.
We got a hooded one too, though. Didn't we? Thought we bought one.
I got a. Well, I mean, you might have. I got a hooded lantern or a bullseye one, so it goes out to 120. If
Okay.
you put the hood up.
I got a hooded one.
Yeah, but he got a bullseye lantern, and that's the lantern we gave you.
Yeah.
We also got hooded lanterns where you can hood them so they put out a very
Yeah.
dim light.
I would like, yeah, I don't want to, I would like the hooded one,
Then
wherever that is.
you can have my lantern anyway.
What do I want the bullseye? I don't want to make such a bright lantern.
Well, no, it's not like a bright. It goes out further.
It's a bright light.
It's a flashlight.
You know, I'll do, I swear I have one. I'll check and double check. But, I'll put it out further and then come back behind the traps and I will sit there. And if I see anything come to me, I'll ready in action.
Okay.
Okay.
So as you
If it's not a griffin, I want a griffin. Okay.
as you sit and wait, you occasionally keep your eyes open. Ooh. You hear the dogs in the distance.
No.
Um,
I mean, I could.
you don't hear, or you don't. I'm sorry, you don't see anything. And occasionally, when the clouds do kind of give way for even a briefest second to illuminate the sort of canyon valley you're in, you see nothing. And then, as your watch comes to an end and sun begins to rise on the morning, you yawn a couple times. The canyon slowly begins to kind of get brighter and brighter, almost like this dull shade of gray.
At some point, how long is my watch for?
3 hours, 4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours.
I would like to take one of those hours, like near the end, and go to the back and.
Okay.
Look up to.
No change.
Okay.
You hang out. Sun begins to rise. The canyon begins to fill with like this dull shade of gray, almost from sun peeking through the overcast clouds. And then the cold morning really begins to kind of settle in. Whereas it almost feels like if there was like grass or ground, you would see like frost begin to form up. You can see your breath and you begin to rouse from your sleep.
Oh,
The morning is upon you. But, okay. You rouse yourselves, break down camp, get the axe beak settled back in, and
Continue on.
continue your journey.
Before we continue on,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to scramble up the rocks on one side, go up a ways.
As you go, do I still kind of like, now it's morning, can I see that spot where I'd seen the lady?
Mm-hmm.
Theta, I
Hmm.
saw a woman and I heard wing beats last night during my watch. If you want to scramble up to that area and just check it out, see if you can find feathers or anything.
Yeah, I can go that way. Sure.
Fantastic.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I thought we
That
had
will find him next night.
So,
Yeah.
It didn't apply this night.
Lou,
It's fine.
you can just leave it open and it will just be a lantern.
Well, oh, like
Yeah, bullseye lantern can be a pointed light source,
okay,
or it can be a
a dim
a
one.
general area light source.
Yeah.
It won't ever be as dim as a hood lantern. That's the point of the hood. So I'm gonna go up towards that spot where he's designating as best I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna head up there.
Okay. You scramble up there. Make a survival check, please.
I have second story work, which helps me climb
Yes.
things. Like
Climb
buildings and stuff.
easily.
I'm just saying that because my survival's shit.
I'm assuming that you can get up to the spot easy enough. I'm just your survival check
Yeah,
to
sure.
see if you can discern the difference between scattered rock and
Cool.
maybe an ass print.
Sure, it's not bad actually. So my survival's that. So 17.
Well, that's pretty very
Right.
Giant
15?
aspirin.
17.
17. Yeah, you story work makes easy maneuver. You just scurry up the side. You've pretty much probably, as you approach even where you're going to climb, you just kind of like, okay, I'm going to take this path. And then you artfully, easy enough, begin to move up the side. You get up to the top there, and looking around, you see basically this rocky outcropping, maybe large enough for a person to kind of perch on and sit. And looking around, you do actually find a feather, a single feather that's probably about this long, maybe like an eagle or a, as far as coloration goes. So it's like this deep brown that kind of starts off tan and then goes to like a darker color on the outside, but it's decent size. And then looking at the ground, you see that there are handprints kind of on the ledge. So they're signs of someone was there, yes, at some point. So not an incorporeal.
I'm gonna take this feather and put it in my beanie in front.
See a little single one.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Make my way back down.
Okay, you slide back down and hit the bottom.
Yeah.
It tastes like rocks.
Well, I just picture he has like
A big
foot-long tongue. He's going, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of, I'm gonna realize that I still have tobacco in my mouth, like halfway down, and just go.
Oh, did you sleep with it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you could show
Didn't
me.
even think about it.
No.
He's incognito, Buscus. Anyway, so the path down the mountain itself.
I don't require air.
Oh.
I can't choke.
No. Or you could suffocate.
No.
Okay, so
I walked
day
down
16.
A water path for like 2 hours submerged. I went down to a ship.
You can get squished.
Day 16 passes relatively uneventfully. Probably around like.
Sorry, the whole reason I went up there was to look down the path further. So
Oh,
Okay.
good. I was hoping you could do that.
You see it just extends through. There are places where it looks like you could probably go north or south at times, where the mountains kind of push together. They're at varying elevations,
And I
varying
imagine it's
heights.
not straight.
No, it just winds and it seems to go. It all seems to be heading west.
And I wasn't looking for anything specific. Literally, I was just going up. I wanted to see if there was an end in sight.
No.
Cool. That's all I wanted to know. I wasn't like, what does it go on?
You notice that you are at like this gradual incline as the road begins to dip. I need you to make a handling cart check for the cart, please.
Cool. I'm gonna head back down and resume what I was doing the day before.
Okay.
Dexterity, correct?
Mm-hmm. 15. Yeah, you maneuver the cart. I need you to make your perception check for
Yes,
the
happened.
dangers. You're good. You're in the back.
Ooh, that's not good.
Do Griffin get hit dice or no?
Yes, they do have hit dice. Should have been listed on hits.
I wasn't sure because you mentioned leveling and stuff, so.
Yes, they have whatever starts on the
Okay.
sheet.
It's 70, 10 plus and stuff.
17.
We'll handle it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I just
distracted
wondered,
by
sorry.
the favorite that I have.
Just keep popping it off and
You
looking at it,
roll.
popping it back in.
It's an 8. Also, I would show him the feather when I got back too.
You're still in the middle? Anything specific you'd
And I
like to
saw
do?
handprints up there.
I am
It was a
looking
person.
for bugs,
Bugs?
mostly.
Make a
Because
survival
I
check.
ran out of feed.
I have, my
Okay.
arms are small.
Make a,
My arms are small.
no signs of griffins today.
May I try to recall any information about
That is 11.
flying people?
Flying people.
Yeah.
Make a,
Birdmen?
Birdman!
make an,
Don't you have like a blue bird with him?
Yeah. There's a falcon. Blue falcon.
make a history check.
I mean, it's minus, but still nice. 14.
14. Thinking back, there are a number of creatures that can fly, and there are a number of creatures that can shape change. There's a number of things that can do both.
All of them are bad.
Not necessarily.
Most of them are bad.
Sanmani is pretty much in the middle of a forest,
Right.
so you're not familiar with mountainous
Right.
combat or creatures.
Right.
And there's no coast or. So yeah, you're pretty much familiar with forest and type.
Some shit, got it.
Birds, well, just monsters that would inhabit the forest that you would frequent on your on training. Desert is to the east, but for his particular order, they don't really go that far. Sanmanian is 90% forest,
Oh, I thought it was
Dense.
desert. Oh.
dense forest. The eastern edge is
That's
that
racist.
goes into a
That
desert,
has
but
its name. It was Sand Mountain.
That's
so no, nothing immediately strikes out at you.
I don't like it, but she didn't attack us, so. I don't know.
Did she
Oh, no.
miss us? Are you sure?
We locked our eyes. Across the room. Down the drain road.
So if you locked eyes, what kind of eyes did she have? What was that? What was the
She had
shape?
great eyes.
What was the shape of that
fuck
eyes?
up.
Too far away. I could feel it though. We were looking. So there was this like moment, and the moon was out, and it was just magical.
Yeah, I would have disagreed with me. And one of the times I came down.
I don't know. I just
Because I imagine I'm not doing my job of looking ahead very well today. I'm more
What was your
I'll be
survival
like
check?
cooking
it was
food
an
for us.
11.
I guess.
where and on what.
Oh, the.
You'd be able to uncover some.
Yeah, but I don't even like a fire.
Yeah.
There'd probably be like crickets and things like
With a
that.
19, I got
Actually, I take that back. That is not true.
I'm sure we put that
Cockroaches
on there,
or
right?
scorpions, if you're lucky, you might find hanging out in the.
Anytime I find a cockroach, I'm
Oh, I have
You
gonna
want-
pluck it up and throw it in. Anytime I find a scorpion, it's more of a, ooh, what's up?
and just start saying, you just hear ting 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 ting.
Does anyone
Crisis
have-
averted.
Fire starter?
Yeah.
Tinderbox comes in most Explorer packs.
I have one.
Yeah, but I didn't take that. I
That's
took
fine.
The entertainer.
Also fine.
Oh,
You could.
So
light
while
your
we're wandering,
defenses on
Correct.
perfect reason for the reason I'm not looking ahead.
Okay.
I am going to pull out that bag of tricks that I still have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pull
What's his
out
name?
a thing.
Time to look at our objects.
The animal? Yeah, go ahead.
Badger?
Where's my GM's
His
guide?
name is Sebastian.
Is it just for kids?
And he plays at.
I roll a 5.
Cinco. Let's go ahead and pull out and see what a 5 does.
I don't know. I barely use this.
You're like, ah.
Bag of tricks.
Kind of forgot.
It's on the back of my character sheet.
It is, that's the tan one, correct? Or is it, what color is it, the bag? Should say.
10.
Tan. So 5?
Yes.
Nice. Do you
It's
have
a
the
scorpion.
player's handbook somewhere?
I don't know. It's not over there. I was going to use it, but
Oh.
I think it's.
Do you guys have it over there?
I have one.
Oh no, you know it's in the office.
Player's handbook.
Immediately to the right of the desk. So as you reach into the bag, you pull out this like sort of marbling sort of object and you throw it on the ground, and it hits the ground. It goes, and then with a brief flash of smoke, the go to the back section of the appendix for creatures, and you watch as like this fuzzy sort of ball begins to, and then a full-on black bear just blocks the path. And then it just sits down.
Snorlax. No.
It's just chilling, and then it like looks down and it's like does like the little does the little like arm wiggling. Oh, I lost my headphone. Yeah, you know they do like the weird wave
Yeah.
where they almost
Have
fall
you ever seen a
over.
bear waving at anybody?
Yeah.
There's adorable videos of that online.
Yeah.
So that is what it does.
I am going to stand marveling at it until the rest of the party comes up.
As you guys come up, you just see a black bear sitting in the road.
I'll get my camera out.
How did they?
Who cares? Can we eat it?
It just
I
seems to
made
be
it.
waving.
What do you mean you made it?
I believe it only lasts for a little while.
You do that?
Sometimes.
What do you mean?
Can we eat it?
Made it. I don't think it works that way. Also, I don't think he'd stand for
We
it.
eat it and then like an hour
Wait.
later we're hungry. It's cold.
I would like to make an investigation or some sort of check and find out if this is a boy bear or a girl bear.
Make a make a nature
You looked
check.
up the little tail.
What's it? I mean, you can just stare at
What's
the
my
people.
nature? That's not me.
If it's
That's that.
Or I guess it's it's very funny.
Nature. Oh, that's not terrible. 9.
Just reach on down and feel around it.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Bears love when you feel their genitals.
9. It's a bear.
Yes.
You walk up to it sitting. Its legs
Amazing.
are splayed out, and you look right at it, and then you look up at it, and you go bear.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
It's
Bear gender.
yes, it's a bear.
so, you have a bear.
Does it so mechanics wise, is this a bear for now?
Yes,
Just
it's a bear.
fuck me.
It follows your commands.
Bear!
It
Come on,
does.
bear, let's go!
It does whatever you want it to until it disappears.
I'm gonna fucking ride it.
Okay.
Cool.
Jump up on it.
Yep. As he trundles off, I'm saying, go! And I'm gonna climb up on the back of it.
So we definitely can't eat it.
Not definitely. I mean, we'll find out tonight maybe,
Food.
but
What's
that's.
wrong with you?
I don't.
More food is always good.
I don't think we want to fight him.
So you can use a bonus action on your turn to command how the creature moves and what actions it takes on its turns.
Wow.
If you do not, it just hangs out. It's a bear.
It just hangs out.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to use your bonus action to tell it what to
Go
do,
find berries.
and you have to roll initiative for it. So just keep that open so you know what the
Yeah,
stats
that's what
are.
I'm doing.
Should you encounter anything, however, day 16. Day 16 continues without much difference. The clouds continue to darken as you take the path much through the day, and at no point does the sun reveal itself. Occasionally, you get you catch the ambient sort of sound of beating wings, large in nature, which at this point could be either griffins or if that thing that you saw had wings.
Do we all hear that? Or-
Yes, occasionally you get this occasional.
I'll look to see if it's the griffin.
Spoiler warning, you don't see anything. It's not coming within view, so it doesn't matter how high you roll, unfortunately.
I don't care about rolling. I'm letting you know what I'm doing.
Does it sound like manticore wings?
You cannot determine the difference because they all have the same feathery type of wings and large wingspans.
Fair enough.
So you continue your journey much of day 16. Towards the end of day 16, as using Theta up ahead, Theta can see that probably early morning is when you'll exit the path. You've passed a number of branching paths, but you know that you need to keep continuing west in order to continue into the valley
And
itself.
I would let you guys know that when I climbed up, the reason was that there was to look out, and I didn't see an end,
Yeah.
but it seems to have a grade that's going up.
So you're on the right path, and as the day winds down, prior to the sun finally fully setting and the path becoming unvisible once more, Theta climbs up to the top and would be able to regale you with. He can see the other side. He can see an exit, basically. It's going to take you the early part of the morning to get out finally, but you will ultimately cross into the valley sometime in the morning tomorrow.
The shadow of the mountain.
So you have another evening. Who wants to do what? Real quick, so we can.
I'll take first watch.
Okay.
During the day, can I be doing a map thing?
Yes. So for this evening, as you guys set up camp, get ready. I'm assuming break the cart or take the axe beak off the cart, set it down behind once again,
Yeah.
anchor it, feed it the bugs that you have. It will get half of its food rations for the day, so you will need to give it a. It does need to make a Constitution saving throw in order to avoid gaining exhaustion.
Ooh, that's not good.
7.
7.
It gains 1 level of exhaustion,
Oh,
so it has disadvantage on its ability checks.
I'm gonna say we ate rations today because we didn't cook all the meat, right? We didn't cook. Did we cook any of the meat before? Or
Now, it's dry out here, we might be able to dry it.
I need the two of you to make Constitute or Wisdom saving throws for your griffins again.
Why?
You don't know
Just
that.
do it.
Okay. Hmm.
15.
Nice.
We're fun.
4 over here.
Wait, hold on.
No, it's 4.
It's 5. It's only +1.
Yeah.
It's 4.
Okay.
15.
No, I'm
15.
Total.
Um,
Sure, 3.
Damn.
At the end of the day, your griffin comes down from the sky in the path, and it looks hungry, and it immediately comes up to the cart and begins kind of like badgering the outside of the cart
What's up, buddy?
like it wants.
And I'll get him. God, we have.
There's 33.
I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for your griffin, because he is not going to eat today.
I don't know.
Look at that hungry. I'll give him some of the meat in the back.
Okay, you give him his full allotment.
Not good, man. 5.
5. He takes 1 level of exhaustion, so you can mark that on his card or wherever you want.
And I will pet him.
I'm going to tell my bear to wait with the griffin.
It's okay.
The griffin.
Okay. Anyway. It just fucking hangs out. It doesn't seem affected by the presence of the other thing.
He's amazing.
So he has disadvantage on it?
I'm going to name him
Correct.
Tony.
Yes.
I wouldn't do that if he's magic.
I'm
What's
going to
that?
name him Tony.
You go ahead. Still there.
So you're taking first watch,
I'll do second.
third,
Yeah.
second, or
Second.
okay.
Oh, okay.
All right,
I'm going to snuggle up with my bear.
all right, cool. You snuggle up with the bear. The bear kind of curls up and just kind of chills out, and you just like in this nice, comfy, cozy bear fur. New, it's clean because it hasn't been it's never been anywhere.
New bear smell.
You're taking first watch. What is your passive?
Attempt to climb up a little bit.
Athletics check.
I'm going to focus again. Athletics?
To climb, yes.
Yay. 19.
19. This time, as you pet the griffin, it kind of watches you. It's eating, but then it kind of watches you as you climb up. And when you don't get too far away, it just chills and hangs out. But you manage to climb up on the side, get into a nice perch position.
And I'm going to focus on listening for wing beats this time.
Okay, go ahead and make your perception check, please.
13.
13. You hang out in your position.
Yeah.
Occasionally you get the beating of wings. Your evening begins to, or your watch begins to come to a close with no change in the present situation. So who's up next? Okay. You wind down.
Cool. To get down.
Okay. Acrobatics.
Fucking awesome.
Sounds always easier than that.
25.
So you get down artfully without making any noise to arouse your You don't just like. So you climb down, you crunch to the ground with a little bit of noise, and then you go and you wake up Tam. You rouse Tam. He gets up.
Hey, I was listening for wings. I heard some. Could have been the other griffin. It might not have been. Just stay awake. Stay awake.
Your lantern.
Yes.
Can I say before I went to sleep, I did the traps? I did
Yes.
the traps.
I'll allow it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go sleep near Tom.
I'm gonna climb up the side of the cliff face.
Okay.
The lantern up.
Bird calls out.
Calls.
Okay, go ahead and make an athletics check to try to climb the side of the mountain.
Like, so laying down, pull up my shotgun.
Click, click.
16.
16. Yeah, you go up to like the one next to where Ma came down at, just kind of like not even knowing that that's where he was, and you take a seat down with your staff in hand, lantern glowing out, and your watch passes relatively uneventfully. Occasionally, you do hear that beating of wings, but you don't seem to see anything. Or
Just anytime I hear it, gonna do a eagle screech and see if I get a return.
you do not seem to get anything back.
Oh, wow.
But your watch winds down. You get yourself down off the thing, kind of gauging the time, and then you go and rouse Lucrezia from her rest.
Coffee in the stick.
Yeah.
No.
Just do a chicken call right in the face.
You're gonna go out again, same thing you did last night.
Yes.
Okay, so you pop out with a lantern. You hang out and you listen, and your watch is relatively quiet. There's no need.
Oh, that was a one.
So you hang out, and occasionally you do get the same beating of wings, but nothing like lunges out of the darkness. It's a pretty calm night. Occasionally those gusts of wind come out, and you get this cold chill as the night winds. Comes to like midnight and early into morning, it begins to considerably get colder. But ultimately you wake up, everyone kind of rouses from their sleep. The day seems darker than it did the day before. Even as the sun rises, it just doesn't seem to be catching as much light. The clouds are thicker and slow moving overhead. You know, you get that sort of like slow pan of cloud that's just thick covering that goes as far as the eye can see.
It's so ominous.
And you, your final day, the morning passes uninterrupted as you begin to make through. I need you to make one more handling check with the cart, please.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Oh, this would be the day.
Would my exhaustion went away?
Hmm?
Did my griffin sleep?
Yes. It ultimately rested somewhere.
Okay.
8. As you guys are going through,
Would he get advantage on that?
are you still doing your
Yeah,
scout?
that's maybe
Make
what
your
because I haven't seen anything there.
make your perception check. Based on your check,
Yes.
will determine whether or not he gets.
Okay. Also, before I make a perception check, I'm gonna wake up and the fire will be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy!
No, that's insane.
You remember the sad day from the tiger the last time, and you're like, oh wait,
It's like
they
Castaway.
disappear in the morning.
I'm gonna dig out the bag and pull another one out, throw it down.
Okay, roll a d8.
7.
7. A giant hyena. So go ahead and pull the.
Tommy!
As it hits the ground and begins to unfold, the little puff ball of fur is now spotted, and it begins to grow in size before,
This is creepy.
and it's just like, it just kind of like stares at you,
I'm gonna give it a hug around the neck. Tommy,
like-
come out.
and then it follows around.
Stop laughing, Tommy. This isn't funny.
Yeah, Scar. Oh, sorry, different.
Oh, jeez. It's a disappointment.
So yeah,
It just tells you to be prepared.
so you have a giant hyena standing next to you
Yes.
as you go.
Perception, you said?
Correct.
24 again.
24. You will get advantage on your handling.
Does it matter? Not really. 11.
11.
Better.
Um, as you guys are going, there's a couple spots where Theta's like, oh hey, right here, don't fall into this one.
I am
And then
astride a hyena.
and then as he's riding the hyena, like holding on for dear life because it doesn't have a saddle, he's like, hey, watch out for this spot, and you're like, yeah, and the whole cart just lifts to one side, slams loudly into the
That spot.
side of the
Oh, God.
Swaying wildly. I pointed it out.
the cart is stuck.
Fuck.
Whee!
I have a hyena. Take the axe beak off of it. Let the axe beak take a nap.
I need you to make a dexterity
Is it
saving
sleeping
throw.
at night?
You, sir, and I need the axe beak as well. Make a dexterity saving throw.
I mean, I assume it is, but still, it's higher than work. This hyena's new.
Border free!
I
Can
caught
it
it.
fold apart?
I mean, I assume so. It's a giant hyena.
Natural 20.
So the axe beak will take half damage. You'll take full. As the whole cart lifts, it smashes into the side, and you hear this sort of like this beating of wings for a moment as it reverberates through the V-shaped cavern, just echoes on both sides. And then you kind of stop, turn around just in time to look up and see one of the rocks come careening down off the side of the
Coming at us?
Oh yeah, it's going right for where he hit. So he basically smashed into the wall, made a loud noise and a heavy crack that's loosened one of the rocks and just comes tumbling down.
I would like to shout at the hyena to go push the cart.
Okay, as it comes down, you looking up at the last moment as you see him, he jumps off the hyena, he's like, go push the cart! You're like, why? And then you look up and you just see this rock coming down. And in that moment where your legs are supposed to go, they just don't go anywhere. The axe beak pulls, causing you to tip over the side of the cart, and it pulls out of the way mostly, and the rock just boom slams into you, sends you careening out against the other side of the valley wall here. Boom! You just slam into it. You're going to take full damage. The axe beak will take half damage.
I don't want the Ark of the Covenant. Mr. Jones, you can have it.
Wow, that's a really bad roll. That's 11 points of bludgeoning damage, and the axe beak only takes 5. And the reason he only takes 5, and it's the cart takes a heavy chunk of boom as it slams in. The upper rail splinters in half. It's not going to prevent the cart from moving. It's just cosmetic damage to the side, and the rock eventually tips off. However, 2 of the bodies of the fire newts are completely ruined. They're just paste.
Okay.
So you just see him slide off the boulder, slams onto the other side. There's just bits of goo and skin strapped to it. The cart's taken heavy damage because it's going to take the full damage. But the axe beak seems the damage was mostly from it getting pulled. With the bit and bridle, it kind of bites at the bit in its mouth.
Can the cart still move then? Or?
Tam.
Yes.
Yeah, here's that.
Okay.
Tam, take the
Basically
bird
damage.
off. The bird. We don't need to make
Robert.
this happen.
You take him off, and you see he's kind of shaking just from the impact. He's kind of trying to shrug it off, But you get him off the side there. Okay.
And then I'm gonna help you put
The heavy.
the straps onto the hyena.
Yeah.
Sit nicely.
It sits.
Yeah, I know.
Sit.
You
pull
you
out some extra rope and just.
get it all secured on there. Yeah, using the assistance of some rope, you can actually tie it around the massive frame. It is a large hyena. You get it all tied up, and then it stands up, and it begins to kind of
pull the cart.
it begins to pull, and it has a smaller surface area on its pads than the axe beak's wide sort of feet. But once it gets out of the rut, it just nothing. Just begins walking. However, the cart does do this weird little rocking thing because hyenas have the high back that kind of bounces when they walk. So it's just it's kind of strange. But you get it up, you pull it off, you get back into your position, a little bruised, but mostly intact.
My fault. I was excited to get out of here.
And so, as you guys continue on your journey out, you finally begin to come towards the exit. And the first thing that hits you is this wave, that cold air that seems to be catching in this canyon, and it has been for the last couple of days. Hits you, and the first thing that hits you is this sordid, very acidic, almost stench that just smashes into you as the first wave. The closer you get to the outside, you're the first one to begin to see as you kind of stand at the dip, and it is a very dramatic drop, probably about 2 feet, straight down, sheer, as it just drops into what appears to be just a mist-covered and weirdly vibrant swamp, almost. The middle of this valley seems to be covered in mist, and there's pools of water that just seem to be stagnant and standing. However, they seem to glow with this faint sort of greenish natural light, whether algae or whatever.
So is it a drop?
It's a drop, you're dropping into it almost. There's
Is
rocks.
it traversable?
Yeah, there are rocks that seem to have been, but it seems to have been eaten away over time and just been like almost rutted out in that area. You notice that there are trees that are sparse. They're large and gnarled. They twist again in this weird way and almost
Hey.
arc.
What?
They seem to have like these willows that have like dead looking long, almost like hair, like tendrils coming off them and dip into the water around them. The smell is awful. And here, as you get to the center point, you notice that the clouds seem to be just naturally darker in this area, and it pushes out, and they become lighter as they exit the valley itself. Yes. So you all stand. You stop. You come to a stop.
See it.
About what time?
Probably about like 9ish in the
Okay.
morning. And as you're sitting there, you just like water just like bubbles up. Blub, blub.
It's not like the water's thicker than usual.
Yeah.
Low viscous.
Viscous.
Chunky water.
And with that being said, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. So as we get started into the actual journey into the cursed lands, this is where we're going to take a quick break. We're going to go down, use the restroom, get some drinks and stuff like that. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Hope you guys are having fun. We will be right back. Shout outs to...
We will still be in the chat though.
Yes, we will still be in the chat during the break. We're only going to go down for a couple minutes. Just give ourselves
So if
a
you have
quick
questions,
stretch
now's
left.
the time to ask.
Yeah, any questions on what anybody's playing, we can always answer those things. Anything about the setting or about the campaign, whatever adventure they're running right
What
now.
looks that we give each other.
Yeah, the weird
I don't know
look.
some of those
Um,
explain them.
So yeah, we'll be right back. Thanks so much, you guys. Celio Angel and Ginger Dragon for the follow, and shout out to I forgot the name. It's because it's over there.
Complicated name.
The Keko Kenkiyoshi Kububo.
There's no
Words are hard.
That's your new
Um,
username now.
Thanks so much for the sub. We definitely appreciate it. Shoot me a message so I can get you access to the sub only Discord.
And this hasn't been said either. Any money that comes into this channel goes directly into the setup. It just
Yeah.
makes this better. We don't
Yeah.
spend it on drugs.
Stupid.
Or
We trying to upgrade the cameras and stuff like that, and obviously
nobody-
improve the sound quality and the lighting. So
Yeah, put things up. We need tapestries. We need walls. We need more lights. The usual.
so we'll be right back. So thanks for hanging out.
We're trying to make it a professional setup, and everything you do helps, and we appreciate it.
It's true. We want to make a wall.
Even if it's just watching, that helps. Thank you. waterproof for the most part.
Okay.
It's a charging cable. It's not electronics on it. It's just
The Dinosaur Story is a great
Have
film.
you seen that yet?
No, we're gonna watch it
Watch
later.
We kept talking about it.
Listen.
It is
Life's
90s
hectic.
goodness cartoons.
Hey everybody, we're back. So welcome back. We're gonna go ahead and pick it right back up where we left off. So when we last left off our party, you guys had managed to clear the. What do you need?
I didn't put the cookie on.
It's not in here.
Oh, okay.
It's in the monster manual.
Um,
The party managed to clear their way through the mountain pass. You're now setting off on. This is the morning of day 17 into your journey. Oh goodness, I burped. And you guys have finally hit what they refer to as the Curse Lands.
Are we sure?
this is actually Rainbow Junction. This is not past that. It's a
Rainbow Dash is here.
Yeah.
All right, what's
Gummy
up?
Bear Falls, right
Like
there.
you see Care Bear walk by.
So what are you guys gonna do?
Kill it.
I actually
wanna
want to look and see if I see any animals in here.
Go ahead and make a perception check, please.
Did your griffin stay?
That's going
This
to be
griffin's not a
19.
bitch.
As far as animals, looking around, you don't see anything that's that big, but occasionally you get like this, and for a moment you think you see like what appears to be almost like a lizard, like skitter into the water, like a little guy. You hear bugs, but they don't sound right. They sound weird, almost like a cicada. It's like a heavy hum. You hear like this, almost like kind of sound. Like you hear they're bug noises, but they're just not normal bug noises.
Hey man, I'd rather have a cicada go boom 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 instead of
just as a human mouth and it's just screaming for no reason. All right, so as you guys begin to,
that's uncomfortable.
you very carefully using the hyena. The hyena is not having too much of a problem moving down the rocks, but as the cart touches the first one, it kind of moves one direction, which kind of throws the hyena off balance. Like that. What was that noise?
Kit. Should I go see?
Yeah, go check it out real quick.
Check the dog.
That was a very strange sound.
At that point, I
Pained
guess
animal noises.
you'll hop down off of the cart and we'll try to, unless everybody's able, we'll try to like help as best
Okay.
we can the cart come down.
Whoever's going to help, go ahead and make an athletics check, please. Or if more than
I
two,
will help.
then do it at advantage. Whoever wants to do it at advantage.
Right, we'll tell the hyena to help not hinder.
Minus +6.
Be like, be careful.
So you can do it at
with the
advantage with everyone assisting you.
That's going to be a 25. Nice.
25. Yeah. With everyone's help, you kind of you just plan out and you have the hyena move slowly. Luckily, its ability to understand and follow commands exactly helping you. You know, take one step, boom, and then everyone kind of adjusts to a different side to compensate for the drops. And ultimately, you into the ground. And as your feet touch down on the earth for the first time, you get this sort of almost like soggy ground, like the grass and whatever's underneath. It's almost impossible to see most of the floors. It's just kind of billowing up this steam. Most likely from the temperature difference, the ground here seems to be slightly warmer than the air, so it's permeating this sort of ground fog that just kind of rolls over into the water, and then as it dips into the water, it moves around it, so you can still kind of see these pools that exist every now and again, and they glow iridescent. There are lightning bugs kind of flittering in the air, and they change color between blue to white and then back to yellow. They just kind of and then they dip around. You can kind of get this these weird undulating sort of humming sounds.
We're gonna need to clean this up if we do take this town. I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
We'll just pave a road. Pay double.
Okay.
I'm going to take some of my rations and throw it into the water.
You huck some rations in there. As it hits the water, there's this splash, this boom, as it hits, and then there's this weird almost like the water forms back up on itself. And then as you wait, and you hear it kind of from somewhere else, you just hear this sort of almost like a geyser or a heat vent just kicks off, and you just sit there for a minute.
I'm going to scream if there's giant rats. About
Oh,
equal
no.
size.
What was that fucking forest called?
Force of despair, maybe?
What's up?
You think this stuff is flammable?
Here's a $100.
I don't need that. I don't need that. I'll go off to one of the pools. They have different sizes, or they're all just kind of like about the same size?
They're all different sizes. It's like standing water. Some of them are very like just puddle
But
like.
they're all glowing.
The deeper ones are glowing. They seem to have like this weird glow to them.
Alright, I'll go to a deeper one then.
Uh-huh.
Ideally out of direct, like if we're going this way, I don't want to get in front of us. And I'm going to cast Spitfire on it.
Okay.
What's the fire spell?
Oh.
So as you head over, you kind of like look around. Your feet kind of like trotting through the sort of like wet, naturally wet terrain. There's a weird heat coming from underneath your feet almost, and then you pull back, and as you do, this blue light kind of in, and then you just blow out this wreath of flame in front of you, and as it out,
Alright, but it doesn't catch, like the water doesn't catch fire or anything?
no. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh my god.
Did you just breathe fire?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, that what the fuck was in character.
What?
Dexterity saving throw is 19.
19. As you blow out and you kind of wait, you like anticipate, like no flame seem to, but as the water's surface begins to break and ripple, there's almost like this, and then you see these couple bubbles, and then, and just like this cloud of like acrid green smoke just kind of like spreads out, and you instinctively begin to get away, and as it lands on the ground, you hear this.
Ooh.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah,
What happened,
magic.
and how did you do that?
Yeah,
Magic.
that's a new thing.
And the second one's magic. The first one is, I'm pretty sure this is acid pools of acid.
I'm gonna take an arrow
Mm-hmm.
and stick it in and pull it out. It doesn't look like acid.
I was very clicky here.
Could be watered down acid, or if it's
Maybe just the green gas part's acid then.
It seems like slightly thicker water is all it seems like.
Hey,
Whatever's
Not
in
for
on
you.
it. Just it's like it's
you
yeah.
should have brought bottles with us.
yeah, but water.
It's almost like an aloe vera gel, you know, but like slightly runnier. So like there are like the globules are bigger and they just kind of like slide off, and it leaves like a weird sort of feeling on your
Let's
hands.
stay out of the water anyway.
I mean, I don't want to swim in this. You're like swimming in KY. It's a lubricant used in machines. In my opinion.
Especially
Inside shit. No.
KY.
There, even if he were telling a lie, I would not know.
You don't know anything
Inside,
about it.
yeah. Like, are you this?
Okay, so that is what you get. That's what you get.
Alright.
It's oddly warmer here than it was before,
Right.
Kind of nice.
but it also kind of gives you. It's like a weird. Like the heat's weird. The ground being covered in like
Oh,
a
I'm gonna
fog
pop-
is strange.
My gauge is open. I'm going to see what the pressure and the temperatures look like here.
So your gauges, as you pop your little thing away, they're just going out of whack.
Oh.
They're just tipping.
So cool.
They're going up. They're going down. It's just not wanting to cooperate.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
but
sword
what-
up to my face and go, give me sight beyond sight.
Bink.
I don't know what this
Apparently
means
not
to
that.
anybody else,
Mm-hmm.
but these have never done this before.
What do they do?
They tell me information about the world. There's time, and then there's time but not here, and then there's time distortion,
What's the time?
and then there's pressure, and then there's temperature.
Theta. Run up.
What time is it?
You're looking at still like 9, 10
More
o'clock. You're
specifically-
like just in. You've been like hanging out by the entrance. Like
More
It's
specifically,
5 minutes after 9.
what is that thing doing with time? Because if this thing can tell time, what is it doing?
it's just going. It's just spinning.
It's not saying.
Everything's
Oh, it's
just
not saying what time it is?
no. It's just
Oh.
everything's just
It's-
spinning.
No, wait, it's not. No, it's 10. No, it's 11. No, it's 12. No,
Is it
it's
like
1.
rapidly or?
Theta,
No, yeah, it's just going.
a little bit to
Slowly
where
or-
Yeah.
the dip
I'm
ends.
gonna dash back up the hill. And
Can you scurry up
down
the-
and turn around. And stay here.
Yes.
Good boy, Tony. No, go back that way.
You scurry up the side and kind of exit out of the swamp,
And I'm
you
just staring at this.
and as you notice, it begins to slow down. But due to your proximity, they're still moving. They're just not moving as crazy. It's like this slow progression. Like it doesn't. Whatever is happening, it just doesn't seem to want to agree.
Cool.
The telemetry is all off.
All the numbers are wrong.
Uh-huh.
Numbers
That's
are
why I
wrong.
don't do math.
Yeah, me neither.
You guys upset?
Come back in.
Okay.
Disgruntled.
Yeah.
Just like that's weird.
Cursed.
Well, yeah, but
I know it's the curse lands, but the numbers are never wrong. Oh, that's wrong.
Theta,
Okay. Boop. That was rapid.
Oh, set.
we'll keep going
You should
as
know
we were.
What? Yes.
This Sprocket's head is
Front.
spinning.
I'm gonna climb up onto the hyena with Sprocket.
Okay.
Did you meet Tony? I
You
think
pull out
you may have
Sprocket,
met Tony
and he's
previously.
like-
I can't remember.
He looks exactly
Oh,
like
no.
that.
Live.
No, but
Are you staying in front?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
fine.
trying to get so I get.
Make sure it doesn't dip in any holes or anything.
Actually, I guess at this point, Theta, you can pretty much run the cart because the hyena.
Yeah, no, I don't need you.
Yeah,
Hyena's-
I'll hop down and I'll move up in the front as well.
Okay, so the two of you take the lead. Theta stays on the cart directing it since he can just tell the guy where to go.
Brigade.
I just want to look out and
The hyena.
see. I'm gonna look out
This
for
is our
like
cart. This is our
other
fire nukes.
creatures or like
There's only two left.
things that look threatening that are coming.
There were
Mhm.
four.
I don't know what that means here, but
Those are
like
big
big
rocks.
stuff.
Make a perception check, please.
The big rock turn them into paste. Yeah.
God. I have not rolled in the double digit stats over today.
Nice.
Okay.
Well,
Perception?
Yes.
11.
All right.
Those happen off there?
11. As you keep lookout, it's hard to tell through the distance what is happening due to the cloud cover meets willow-in type trees meets just this general dark atmosphere that has a weird, almost like halo-in type glow to it because the floor illuminates in parts and places with this sort of sickly greenish yellow light. However, then it is pushing against darkness almost. So you have this low glow that almost like feels claustrophobic, like it's closing in on you. And just the general air, the smell is disorienting. The occasional bubble, especially with now knowing that occasionally these vents seem to expulse something. Every time one pops, you just kind of find yourself like trying to identify where it's coming from. But let's go ahead and
It's weird and foggy.
Is Sprocket the same or is he a live mouse now?
Sprocket's the same.
Time isn't wonky, just his ability to read it.
Yo, that'd be cool.
So you're going to be traveling most of day 17 like this.
Yes.
Yes.
So as you guys make your way through, you try to remember to the best of your ability. You're still kind of leading from the front,
Oh, yeah.
trying to remember. I need you to make your navigation check, please.
Checking the road for any like.
Should I make a wisdom saving throw for the...
Yes, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for the griffin, please. Oh, also, the exhaustion does not go away on the griffin
Oh, okay.
because it cannot regain its exhaustion if it has not eaten. It must eat, drink, and get rest in order to
Am I
remove
doing
exhaustion.
wisdom?
Huh? What is it?
Wisdom?
Yes,
+1.
7.
7. It does not seem
So
to
now
be.
it's 2 levels.
It is 2 levels of exhaustion.
Are we... We were on day 16. So
Correct.
we're on day 17 now?
Yes.
Yes.
So should I do another one then? Because that was on day
Yes.
16. Okay.
23.
Natural 20!
Hey!
Natural 20.
Yay!
On day 17, there's this sort of like weak sounding and then like a pause. And eventually you do see the griffin begin to come down, but it seems to be labored in its movement before landing and kind of like, it's like looking around nervously, but it seems kind of like disoriented in a way, like it's just having trouble
Can I tell this just from food or
Oscar,
from something
it's-
else?
Did you make the bird?
starving.
Yeah.
Is
I will give it
You
to
got one
foods.
over there?
okay, so you feed it. It wolfs it down much faster than you think it should have, but it's just like tearing at it, and then it's kind of like just like
And it still has the... Oh, no.
yeah. Well, I mean, its speed is halved, and it's
Okay, so it's still 2 levels.
It's still 2 levels. Until it rests, it won't remove any of it. So,
I would like to try to get it to...
So that's.
Is it bigger than the car?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. I'm
8
gonna leave a 1 here. I would like to try to get to like...
Well,
like
what's its speed?
15 now.
80 feet flying, 30 feet.
So it's 15 right now. So it's a
15
slow.
now. So it'll just trail behind you, but if you want to stick back with the griffin, that's fine.
Yeah,
as we move.
okay.
It doesn't need to rush ahead, and it can catch
As
up.
you guys are moving,
23.
the what were you looking for again? Sorry.
23 for
Navigation. You are trying to the best of your ability to get your bearings on the ground, and without Theta to be able to tell you some solid information. It's difficult, but you think for the most part that you're in the right on the right track. But ultimately, as Lucrezia's griffin returns, and you see it kind of like looking a little bit hobbled and weakened, you guys slow up and kind of like group up for a moment to take a break. And what is everybody's passive perception?
14.
12.
16.
16. You're the only one that noticed sitting on the cart as you turn around to her, and everyone's kind of spread out. Let me go ahead and get that.
I'm showing Sprocket the landmarks, so.
I need everybody to roll initiative.
God damn it.
I would like to use my surprise action at the beginning of the time to safely stow Sprocket.
Okay. You get to act normally. Everyone else is surprised, which means the enemies are going to get a turn to go first.
Okay.
Fuck.
So it is him and him, and then Theta's in the middle, and then she's back here.
So, describe to me what I'm seeing.
First off, I have to determine who's getting.
I'm going to throw a knife.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've got, because I'm going to throw it. I'm throwing a dagger.
Let me roll its initiative real quick. That is really good. All right, I need to know 25 to 20.
23. Wait. 21.
21. Let me bust out my old friend here.
None already.
I have either 91.
One of those would be really impressive. I would
mean,
be
he was-
I would be boggled.
He was upset about not getting 50.
You know what? I'm sorry. You get to go yesterday. Your turn can be yes. Oh, you're good. They have
You
negative to
will
their
wrench
initiative.
on your turn.
And out of the sky, just a fucking.
Okay, 25 to 20 was Maw. At what? 21.
I'm at
Okay.
18.
18.
Same.
Wow. 18. One more.
I can't roll that one.
What is yours?
5.
It's a 5.
Wow.
That's
Really?
the lowest
Lowest I can
Well, in
roll.
fact, our last. I did not
Oh,
expect
God,
that.
I got a natural 1 on my initiative.
Wow.
Good number. It's not a good number.
Oh wait, shit. That's not right.
Well, that one's at a 1 too. So I thought that's what you. Oh, is it a 4?
2. I don't know.
I'm looking at this one.
Can I have both of you two gentlemen over here roll a d20 and tell me who rolled lower than the other person?
No. Oh.
What? Those two?
I rolled a 17.
I rolled a 5.
17 and 5. Okay, so you're going to be the one that's targeted. Can I get the player's handbook back, please? I need the other
Yes.
enemies.
My armor class is 16.
16! I actually need you to make an athletics or acrobatics, your choice, at disadvantage. Because you are unaware that it's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, it is cool.
Okay, it's 11.
11! I'm going to go ahead and roll for the creature real quick. Creature from the Black Lagoon. As you may be familiar with.
It's a swam.
2.
Sweet.
Okay. Actually works
You
out
know
for
that-
You're
them.
gonna do
You
that. I
know
just
the
did that.
creature from the Black Lagoon came from a swamp.
For some reason, I just picture I'm walking through and then all of a sudden something just grabs me from the mud and goes.
That'd be cool.
What the fuck? What the?
Hey man,
Betrayal!
how about
Oh!
how about you let me narrate this? Because that's exactly what's happening.
Oh,
Okay,
shit,
so
really?
something comes up from
Yeah.
Oh, we took it
So,
from you.
as you guys are kind of turned around, you're watching Lucrezia deal with the fact that her griffin looks slightly emaciated and lethargic. You all look around, and Theta, you get this strange sort of feeling as for like a fraction of a second, it sounds like the whole world stops, and then you turn around just in time to see out of the water this skeleton-like, partially dissolved hand just reach out and grab towards you. What was your thing again? 11, you said?
Yeah.
He rolled an 11 as well. So as soon as the hand crafts to the bottom of your leg, you instinctively pull your foot out, and you just see this partially dissolved, glowing undead just begin to crawl its way out. And as it does, another one skitters up the side, and then another one begins crawling out on the other side by you.
Oh God!
Cursed.
And then you
Cursed. Well, I can see that now.
Susan B. Anthony. Cursed.
What?
I solved the mystery.
Jinkies! So on the surprise round,
What about us going on?
you get to take no, I'm sorry. They're gonna get to go first, but then you're gonna get to go immediately afterwards.
Okay.
And then we will start at the top of the initiative order.
We have skeletons.
Oh, do we now? Let's grab some scaling.
shit.
Let's grab some skeletons out.
Get those skeletons out.
Do we have Quattro, Beijina? Deux,
I know this is really exciting for you guys at home, but I promise you eventually we'll have a map.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we really need one. Fucking homeboy.
What was that?
Actually, no, we'll use this one because he's kind of the same thing.
Oh, spooky
2 questions.
scary.
Yes,
I
correct.
have a card.
No.
Alright.
Okay, what's the next question?
Second question, Spitfire, do you want me to retain the recharges after a short or long rest?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, you did the fire thing on day 16, right?
I started today with that. So
I thought that was
I don't know.
yesterday because we skipped a day.
No, yesterday was us getting
Yeah,
here. We
it-
slept last night. Woke up this morning. I got hit by a rock.
No, but like day 16, we came in and did the thing, and then we kept
That was
going.
17.
I don't know how big it is, but we are having fun. We're about to get murdered.
We got hit by the rock. He summoned the hyena.
That was
We
day
made it-
16.
we made it
Disappear
here.
into here.
Day 16.
The hyena hasn't left yet. It's not.
Well, not
Okay, so the first one uses its action to try to grapple you. You instinctively pull away. The second one, as it begins to crawl out of the dirt, it begins to stand up next to you, and as it does, you can see that its lower rib cage seems to be glowing, as well as parts of its face, and it's that same sickly, like, greenish black as it kind of, like, stands up next to you. There's a moment where it just kind of, like its head lifts, and then it goes to slam attack at you. So it's going to make its attack roll at you, sir.
Okay.
That is a 12 plus 3, 15.
Does not hit.
15. As it goes and goes to smash into you, instinctively bring the blade up and just smash off its hands, and it just kind of buckles backwards. The next two are at you, sir.
Can they not be?
We could
That was your
not,
other
but they are.
question.
The first one is a natural 20,
Oh my
I thought I would
god.
ask.
and the second one is an 8.
Okay, so before we continue,
Yes,
today is day 17.
correct.
But you,
Yes.
we got.
You were hit by a rock today.
Yes.
Damn it. What the
So
fuck?
that's what I thought.
And your Spitfire has been used.
Yes.
So the first one is a natural 20 to hit.
I mean,
That hits, obviously. The second one
let
does
you-
not.
I'll give you that one.
You'll give me that one? It's free?
Yeah.
Wow. He rolled really high. So you get 2 points of bludgeoning damage. As it reaches out and just tries to get its hands on you, you see that parts of it are glowing, and it's part of its jaws missing on one side. It's wearing these raggedy remnants of just peasant's clothing. And as it tries to grab onto you, you instinctively push it off, but it's getting little rakes across, and you're like, get off me. And the other one goes to swing out at you, and you just instinctively duck, and it just grabs at nothing. They seem to be trying to get their hands on you. As that's happening, you hear coming from from over by where Lucrezia is, and you see the griffin begin to kind of turn, but it seems too weak to try to flee. And for a moment, you both can see these skittering in the underbrush as these partially deformed but and fur covered wolves that have glowing bits on their mouths and on their eyes, almost like all the skin's been peeled back for a minute, and all those lines are all glowing, and they're just and their stomachs are bloated as they just begin running haphazardly out of the woods. They're going to get their movements, which their speed is
Get it out of there.
40.
Just like assist, you just lance it real quick and go.
Next time we use Spitfire, I've got to make sure I do it right.
You're a fucking nerd.
So the two are going to go at you guys. So you're going to have...
Are they going the same turn? Is this still
Yeah,
a surprise
yeah.
round?
This is still the surprise round. There's 2 groups of enemies, and then you're right after them.
I don't even know. I just
That was the only
First hit to Lucrezia is...
Oh.
Oh wow, the hit's pretty good. 15. Second one is a natural 1. Third one is to you, sir. That's a 6. and the last one is to you, sir, and that is going to be a 19.
Is the dog the car?
So that last one will hit. I need you to make a strength saving throw. As you take 4 points of piercing damage.
I think I remember I
2
have
points of
advantage.
piercing damage, thank you. Uncanny dodge.
Oh yes, okay. So you uncanny dodge.
That was a natural 1 though to my saving throw.
So you are knocked prone as you wheel around in time to see the 4 begin to crawl out of the swamp. You hear the like skittering of feet, and you see these mutant like sort of wolves begin to come out. They don't seem any sort of like intelligent. Their heads are almost like lolling to one side as their body just instinctively runs towards. 2 of them leap out at Lucrezia, who instinctively pushes the griffin backwards. One just careens right between them, and she like, oh shit. And then the other one goes to bite at her and just kind of like it bites at the air. I'm just trying to like snap its jaws, and you can hear that. The second one runs at you, jumps, climbs up the cart, and tries to leap, and you just instinctively move out of the way as the other one just barely manages to catch the foot and slides you to the ground. You just get knocked over and brought down. So you take 2 points of piercing damage, and you are knocked prone. So you are prone right now. It is your turn.
Okay.
It is.
I'm going to stand and pull out a dagger and stab at it.
Okay.
And hold on, because I'm going to see what kind of dagger, because it's just reflexive. Okay. Hey, it's silvered. Cool.
Okay.
Because I have a certain number of daggers, and I determined beforehand what it was going to be when I rolled it. So
Drive it into its head.
yeah, just pull out a dagger and grab it randomly. I happen to pull out the silver manicore things
Okay.
and stab it into it.
Go ahead and make your attack roll, sir.
That's better. That's me 22 to hit.
22 to hit. Obviously hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
I don't have D4 out at the moment. It is 7 points of piercing.
7 points of piercing damage.
Yes.
All right.
2, so that's...
All right. So you instinctively bring back and you bring the dagger down as you scramble to your feet really quickly, and you just see its jaws kind of like letting go as like the bottom jaw slides to one side, and then you bring the dagger down and just stab right into the side of it, and it kind of like it quivers against it, and then it just stops.
So what's that thing that you can type in to see what we have class-wise?
It is not functioning for some reason.
Well, never mind. Fuck.
We had a bot that did things, but as Twitch does, Twitch gets twitchy and bots get bloody.
Are we doing
And
topic or
when
no?
that happens,
No.
sadness reigns.
Oh no. I think you're on one side, right?
I'm on fire.
Yeah, I know.
See, I was
Are
going to
you
use.
responding?
I
Yeah.
was going to use physical descriptions: white shirt, red hat. Black
Do it.
Shirt.
Do it to it. Put it in there.
Hey, fuck that, dude. Have you seen the mistakes I was making? I was just trying to hit the space button and it kept hitting send. I'm like, what the fuck?
Stop.
Is that okay? Great question.
So, you notice it shake against you. Top of the round, Ma, you're up.
Oh, yay!
Don't do that again.
I hate it, she thinks.
Yeah, it made my soul cringe in my body.
Okay?
Yeah, well, fuck you.
Hashtag dead now.
God.
What are you doing, Mom? God.
Watch, that's not even right.
I'm going to disengage.
Okay. You can use your action to
I'm
disengage.
going to use my action to disengage.
Where would you like to go, sir?
And I'm going to tell Tam to come with me, and I'm going to move over here next to Theta.
Okay, so you move up next to the large hyena that's currently in the front of the cart.
Yes.
Okay, what are you doing?
And
No, don't worry about stuff in the map.
Well, 'cause
Alright, that is the end of your turn.
I put the.
Alright, next up on the list is Tam.
I put the griffin on the cart.
with me, Tam.
It's fine. You already are behind the cart.
Yeah, I'm gonna disengage and go to the opposite side of the cart. And
Okay.
Oh, as a bonus action?
That is it.
Oh, no, I'm not going to do that.
Alright, next up is Lucrezia.
Okay. I'm going to do first attack with the hammer at the one on my left.
Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah. 19 plus 8.
Natural 19 plus 8
Yep,
points.
that is.
And then
Safe to assume that probably is.
then my next attack
That's
is
a
gonna
plate mail dog.
be to the other one.
Weird.
With a shield?
21.
Okay, 21.
To hit the other one?
Yes.
Also hits?
And then I'm going to punch the other one.
Okay.
11 plus 8. So
Hits.
Okay, so.
You sure you don't want flurry of blows? There's some more fucking.
11 damage to the first one.
Okay. So as you bring the hammer to one side, you smash the head of it, and you just see it come off. Just as it collides with the side of it, there's this stretch, and the head just goes flying off into a pile of viscera.
6 damage to the second.
Okay.
For the hammer, and then 10 damage with my fist.
10 damage for your fist. All right. So as you just bring the hammer head off, second one you just smash into it, and then you just sock it in the side of the body. And as you do, you see it kind of like just falls apart. And as it does, you kind of like look back and you're like, oh, that wasn't so hard. And then both of them just go, and they just explode into this greenish sort of like glowing viscera. I need you to make 2 Constitution saving throws, please.
Did you con modifier?
So 18 and 14.
14 just succeeds. As you're going to take half damage. Where's my dice? There it is. So you take half damage from both combined, so 10 halved to 5. As they both explode into this like viscous sort of gel almost that just coats you, it smells awful. You immediately pull back and cover your mouth as the poison begins to seep in through your skin, and you take 5 points of poison damage. That is the end of your turn?
Yes.
Next
I go
up.
parry, just in case.
Okay, next up is the enemy's turn. So they are going to maneuver up. Boop. Boop. Oh. Not very secure on the base there. He's just kind of laying on you. I don't know why
I
that
feel like
happened.
that's fairly accurate.
Staring right in your eyes.
So we're gonna start with this side. Tam, you're gonna. The first one's gonna try to grapple you.
Okay.
Is he now?
Yeah, go ahead and make your.
I have advantage on escaping grapplets.
Do it.
Okay.
That is a 16.
Well, that's too bad because he rolled a 4. So as he goes to grab onto you, he just kind of like falls forward, and you just step off to the side, like, and you notice as it hits the ground, there's this moment where it just kind of goes, but it doesn't seem to break. The second one is going to try to attack you. That is a 8. Third one to you, sir. That is a actually 16 plus 3,
Fuck.
19.
It's
And the last one is going to, that's a 10 to hit, so. That is 4 points of bludgeoning damage as it just runs straight into you. As it begins to move, it lumbers, loses its balance, and then just charges you and just like shoulder checks you. It goes to like kind of get grab, but it's like haphazard. Its hands are just clawing, and you just get away from it. The next 2 are to you, Mr. Theta.
Thank you.
There's just gonna be.
Their pack tactics kick in because they're
Oh, okay, wait.
side by side. So the first one is going to be a 16,
Hits.
and the second one is going to be a 17 to hit. So I need you to make 2 strength saving throws. 7 points of piercing damage for the first one, and 5 points of piercing damage for the second one.
17 and 21.
Both succeed.
Thank you. I need those numbers again.
I think 7 for the first one is 5 for the second one.
So 12. You want to half that to 6? Then.
Or you can only have 1 attack with uncanny dodge.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can. So you half the first one
Sure.
because it's
Yeah.
more. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
So you take 3. 3 and 5, so 8 total.
Okay.
As you go to like kind of like back up, you notice that they just won't stop the harrying. They just keep trying to latch on and pull you to the ground again.
Oh, because uses your reaction. Gotcha.
The one has a dagger, just like still stuck in it. You're just like trying to hold it and push it away from you. But they can't seem to get good purchase. They scratch the outside, but can't seem to pull you to the ground. That is the end of their turn. So you are up, sir.
All right. I'm going to use my bonus action to disengage.
Okay.
I'm going to dance a happy little circle around them and go about 10 feet away. No,
This way? This way?
That way, yeah. And we'll give them one more square. Yeah, it's probably good.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna pull my bow out
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna twang them.
You want to go for the one here or here? Here. This is the one you hit already, and this is the one. This one hasn't been hit yet.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna betwang
Oh,
them.
no.
I'll pull out that tomahawk. I'm gonna hook it.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack roll. Are you targeting the one that hasn't been hit or has?
The one that's near to me.
Because the one that's near to you won't get sneak attack. It's not near anybody
Oh,
else.
then I'm hitting the one that I will get sneak
Okay,
attack on.
so go ahead and make your attack roll.
Oh,
Maybe it's a controlled explosion.
Yeah.
it's not a controlled explosion.
Natural 20?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and roll damage.
Oh man, you guys.
So it's going to be double damage
You're
dice.
alone.
So,
Oh, maybe it'll be like a-
so basically 2d6 for the axe, 2d6 for the explosion, and then whatever double your sneak attack. 66.
God,
66 for the sneak attack.
Okay, hold on.
double.
2 for the X,
Man.
2 for this one.
Can you save that for like a boss?
2,
No.
3.
It is going to explode. So I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. I will say, at advantage,
Well, the skeleton.
because the explosion is basically going to rot.
That's a couple of dice.
You got a few of them there.
Would the skeleton get hit too?
The skeleton is unaffected by poison.
No, by the tomahawk
You
explosion.
might be going down.
Oh, I'm deaf.
Yeah.
Huh?
15.
15 to, yeah, you succeed, so you're
Okay.
going to take half damage from the...
10.
Explode.
That's too bad.
6 plus 4
Oh my god.
is 40 damage.
Oh my god.
40 damage.
Have to.
How does that explosion go?
It doesn't say it hurts anything.
No, it's a 5-foot square. It hits the target and only that. But the explosion that you're going to experience is from the
Poison.
from the poison. So you're going to take half damage from the poison.
I thought the explosion would like affect.
Here's my d8.
It doesn't even do like acid splash damage or anything.
You take 1 point of poison
It would
damage.
have been cool because it could have hit the skeleton.
Half of 1 is still 1. So as you bring it back, you're like you kind of like lock on it. You look at the one that's kind of injured with the hole in its top.
Explosion.
You focus and you throw right in the sort of like the joint between its shoulders and the neck. And as it hits, there's just this. It strikes in. It doesn't even make it that far before, boom! And there's this explosion that kind of, and just some of the viscera just on you and just kind of like separates. There's just a perfect circle of just destruction all around it, and it's gone. It's not even there anymore. The axe just. Oh yeah, roll a d8 to see which square it lands in.
That's cocked. 5.
5. 1, 2. It lands closer to you.
Okay.
It just spins off and pink clatters to the ground sideways.
That was
Just
unnecessary.
hanging out. That is the end of your turn. Top of the round, it is Moth.
Then I'm going to attack Mr. Green Zombie
Okay.
with my constrict.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack roll, sir.
Can you get any abilities from
Gross.
that?
19.
19 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
That is going to be 4 damage.
4 damage. Okay.
Oh yeah, I did. It's an half. I have in the past though. It's part of my awesome trait.
Okay.
And it is a 16 to not be restrained.
To not be restrained. There it is. I lost my d20 there for a minute. That is an 8. So no, as the tentacle erupts from the ground, this bluish sort of tentacle smashes into it. The suckers all connect and then wrap around it, just kind of like. It doesn't seem to really care that it's there. It's just like standing there.
There, this one.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, that is the end of your turn. So Tam, you're up.
I want to do a full round of attacks.
Okay.
All against the one that's
Right next to you.
me.
That's that keeps trying to grab you. All right, go ahead and make your attack roll, sir.
I'll just do one at a time. That is a 23.
Hits.
And the second one is a 24.
Hits.
And last one is a natural 20.
Nice.
No, that one's a miss. Yeah, that hits. It's actually his
He's
armor.
resilient all of a sudden.
Strangely enough, that's his.
Technically, if the first two make him explode, yeah, the last one would miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the first two, I believe I could do these as much as I want.
1 per attack.
1 per attack?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to blow 2 superiority dice.
Okay. So on the first attack.
On
And
the
then
first
second
and
one?
second one.
Okay.
Do sweeping attacks.
Okay.
The one that's leaning up against me takes 6 damage, and the one adjacent takes 3.
Okay.
And then the one that's leaning up against me takes another 9 damage, and the one adjacent takes 2. So the one adjacent takes 5 so far.
Okay. And then third attack.
And short sword. That is a total of 4 points damage.
All right. So 19 to the first one. Okay. And then 5 to the second one.
Yes.
Excellent. So as you see it kind of like keep trying to grab onto you, just instinctively just move back, take a low stance, bring out both weapons, and whack, 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 whack. Just all 3 strikes very quickly in succession, kind of focusing. Marvelli is just like stopped, just like right through it. You just see pieces of it begin to leak out, that like viscous sort of gel that's just coming off it. And it doesn't seem to really react. It's just like the blow through it, and it leans closer into you. Still standing. But they're both kind of like taking decent chunks out of them. That is the end of your turn. Lucrezia, you're up.
Anybody want a nipple?
I'd like to move up to this one.
Okay.
The wolf.
Sure. You wheel around to the wolf.
Roll into it with my hammer once.
Okay.
Oh shit.
12.
12 misses.
Okay, then I'll hit it with my second attack.
Okay.
14 plus 8.
Yes, hits.
22.
So that's 9 points of damage.
9 points of damage.
Okay.
With that, as you run up, the explosion kind of surprises you, and then as you go to slam down at it, the creature instinctively moves out of the way. You just take the momentum and do an upswing and just catch it in the side, and it goes explodes toward kind of away from you. But I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity or constitution?
Oh, Constitution. Sorry.
15.
15 succeeds, so you're gonna take half damage. I don't know. I rolled a d20.
Please don't.
That's not this damage. You take 1 point of poison damage.
Okay. Then I would like to use the rest of my movement to go up to the other side of the mall to this green dude.
Okay.
I would like to knee it.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
I need you.
Wait, did you say with advantage?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, the one that's restrained. Yes, you do get advantage on that.
Oh, 15 plus 8.
Hits.
23.
Okay. And then
Still hits. They're not very dexterous.
7 points.
7 points, and that's the one you hit, right? So 7, easy enough.
Oh.
All right.
I'm not there. I'm by,
The far side.
yeah. I'm on
How much did the laser
the
too
right
fall?
side of the green guy. Yeah, that. Does that negate everything I just said?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Still works.
Okay.
Okay. So,
I promise this makes sense, everyone.
as you flank around the outside after having exploded the first wolf, you just go over and you just do a flying knee kick right to the side of this thing as it's kind of stuck hanging on the tentacle a little bit, and you just boom, run into it. It just kind of takes the hit and doesn't seem to really. They don't seem to show pain. That is the end of your turn. It is now their turn. The one that is restrained is going to attack you, sir.
Please do.
Oh,
That is an 8. The other one is going to attack you as well.
Oh, jeez.
Penis.
That is an 11. And then the last 2 are to you, Tam.
Man.
That is a
Oh, fuck, you have 2 on
16.
you. Sorry.
And the second one is an
They
8.
both
16.
Okay.
Would have been unbalanced.
First one's going.
I'm gonna help Tam, don't worry.
That is 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
We can't do it again.
Can I get player's hand?
No.
We both did the same thing.
Because I'm using it. Actually, I'm not using it anymore. Now you can have it.
In this second, he stopped using
Yoink, yoink, yoink.
Sundari DM.
it.
Thank you.
You can have
Okay,
it,
so you
yes.
take 5 points of damage as it just like it's trying to like swing at you, and then all of a sudden, like with an unexpected amount of momentum, its hand rakes up the front, and just kind of bounces off your chest, and you're like, oh, what the hell? You can hear its arm crack under the weight of its own hit. That is the end of their turn. So it is now Theta's turn.
Pretty sure I'm gonna get shanked next time.
I'm going to pull my bow out, and I'm going to shoot an arrow at the nearest one, attacking Tam.
Attacking
On him.
Tam. All right, I got it. Yeah, go ahead and make your attack roll, please. Plus proficiency.
Yeah, oh, plus proficiency. proficiency?
Yeah, you're proficient in short bows.
Okay, beautiful. Then that's a 14.
14 hits.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll damage with sneak attack, because he's in melee.
Oh, there it is. I have it written here. It's just not written in the right place. That's going to be 4. So, 22 damage?
22, okay.
Is that just the sneak attack or is that bonus too?
That's sneak attack. That's
Um,
D6 plus 4.
I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, but I think you're immune to poison damage, or you reduce it to half automatically.
I'm resistant to it.
Okay, so go ahead and make your save. You have advantage on the throw.
is that natural 20?
No.
Is it natural 1?
It's 11.
11, that fails. However, it doesn't matter because you're going to half it anyway. You take 2 points of poison damage. That is already halved for you. So as the explosion happens, you instinctively just kind of like pull back and your halfling fortitude kicks in. As it lands on you, you just take a minute and then you just steel yourself from the effect. But it explodes into a viscous mess. So that one is down. Boop, boop. All right. Anything else, Theta? For your turn? Bonus action or anything?
No, that's going to be it.
Okay.
Actually, for my bonus action, no, it's fine.
Well,
Okay.
do you have extra attack?
What?
No.
I don't. That's one of the things I'm looking up.
Rogues don't get
an
them.
extra attack.
You hit like a
I
truck.
was looking at yeah, exactly. I just did 40 damage to some jackass. Like, that small attack just did 24 damage. Like,
Maul, you're up.
I'm going to scimitar and punch buckle the green one.
The one that's restrained?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and make your attacks, please. 4 plus
Is it an advantage? Because it's restrained?
6, 10?
10 hits.
No, I don't have advantage
Oh,
because
because you're restrained.
I'm restraining.
10 hits.
10 hits, cool.
Yes.
And
Oh, wow.
punch buckler is a natural 20.
That one also hits.
Yay! Alright, for the scimitar,
Oh, I thought it was falling.
that is 5 damage.
Attack rolls against the creature have advantage. Yeah, you do have advantage on your attacks because he's restrained.
Well, I thought that was the specialty of this particular move.
Just roll to see if you get a 20 because they both hit.
Fair enough.
Okay.
And then for the punch buckler is 5 damage.
What was the first?
The first one was 5.
5.
A total of 10.
Total of 10. As you bring the scimitar up, your hand's still glowing. You just cut straight across the front of it, like right in the neck, and you watch the like blood and ichor just drip out. And then you sock it in the face, and you watch part of it just collapse inwards, and it just still stands. That is the end of your turn. So Tam, you're up.
I'm gonna turn to my buddy and just
Give him the business.
yeah.
All right, go ahead and make your attack rolls.
That is a 22.
Hits.
That is a natural 1.
Misses.
Switch to a 16.
Oh yeah. Okay, 16 hits.
And then last one is a 24.
All hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
And I will do maneuvering. Yeah, maneuvering attack.
Okay.
Just for the extra damages, because
Who are you gonna give a heads up to adjust to?
well, nobody's attacking the same one I am.
Theta is, but he's fine.
You can move if you want.
You can use your reaction to move.
oh, cool. How far?
Your entire movement.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
I will say if you use your reaction, since it's a new turn, you will lose your ability to uncanny dodge should that come
Yeah.
up.
No, I'm fine staying where I am.
Okay.
That's I immediately had that thought. I was like, oh, I won't do that.
Thanks, though.
So that's 17 for the first hit.
Okay.
7 for the third. And then
17 for the first one, and then what's for the second one?
7 for the second one, and the last one is going to be a 4.
Okay. So as you carve into it the first time, you see it kind of like begin to droop as it's like beginning to fall backwards, and then you just see it stop mid drop, and this like greenish energy just kind of like pulses, and it just stands back up. At which point you just kind of like hook, and then stab it again right in the center of its stomach. At which point you see it kind of like crumple over you, and that same kind of like drip begins to happen, and stands back up, almost stiff as a board. And with the final one, you just cut it straight in half, and you watch it go and just explode. So I need you to make your Constitution saving throw, sir.
Always in that mouth.
I remember this.
Yeah, right.
A certain mime and I engaged in mortal peril against a fucking zombie.
I don't remember any of that. 23. Sorry.
23. That is going to be halved, so you take 1 point of poison damage as it explodes against you.
It's like I've ever been privy to. It would not die.
All right. That is the end of your turn. Lucrezia, you're up.
I'm going to do alternate attacks at the green thing.
Okay.
It's not special, you know. It's just the thing we have to represent it.
Okay. First one, 15 plus 8.
Hits. Go and roll damage.
Okay. You want me to roll? Do you want me to just do all my attacks and then roll damage?
No, I want you to roll damage first.
Oh, okay.
Just for this one. Because they have their ability to regenerate.
15.
15
Oh, no.
damage?
Yes, 15 damage.
Oh, yeah. As you bring the hammer around,
Oh, shit.
you just smash into the side of it.
Is this still restrained?
Yes, it's an advantage.
Okay, yeah, good.
You just want to roll to see if you get a crit?
No. I already rolled 2 dice at the same time. So
Okay. As you swing into it, you see its arm kind of like come up as its head kind of like turns towards you, and you just take the arm clean off, at which point you see the light leave it, and then it just stands back up, seemingly still alive. Second attack?
Okay.
And again. And again.
Oh, yeah. That was 4. Oh, 16. Cool.
Both would have hit, probably.
Roll two damage.
I didn't need to. But it's like before. I don't focus on the other one. Okay, 16, so 10 damage.
Unfortunately, this time as you swing into it, you just smash it right in the stomach with the flat part. You can hear like the spine pop in the back, and as you do, you just see it crumple over your form. Its head kind of hits the side of your head, and then at which point you just hear, and it just stands back up, still alive. You can use your bonus action to attack.
Oh, come on!
I'm working on it! Yeah, I'll hit it.
Okay, is your bonus action?
Yeah, I would like to take my sword and
So
try to crack it across the head.
Okay,
It's advantage.
still an advantage because it's restrained.
What was that?
It's just going to be a bunch of
Huh?
us standing around
No,
with
it's
rocks.
9.
I saw that 9. Okay.
9 plus your modifier would hit.
So
19.
19 plus 8.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
still
but
hits.
for advantage, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll damage.
7.
This is a long.
So as you just see it, like you just instinctively just elbow it right in the side of the head. You hear this as its head turns sideways. At which point the thing begins to just drop against the side of the tentacle
Yeah.
and
Oh,
just
so we get
stops.
back up again.
Stops moving. Now I rolled 1 shy of the DC it needed to get back up.
Mm.
So it is dead. Next up is the enemy's turn.
Does it explode?
It does. I need both of you to make Constitution saving throws.
It's alright, I don't actually think it does.
Plus 1 or 2?
Yeah.
It is a 12.
See me.
What? 20?
10. I passed that.
10. You fail. You succeed.
What
So
is
you
that?
go ahead and.
I eat weird things and reaction to devour.
Excellent. You take 2 points of poison damage, and you take 1 point of poison damage.
You said I take 10?
2.
2, okay. You get that thing where, like, if you go down, you come back up.
It would never work for me.
No, you just get a light glow.
Yeah.
Constitution saving throw,
No,
correct?
he has kamikaze, so
Correct.
once he gets knocked out, he just
Huh?
explodes.
Hey, you rolled 20.
13? Yes, that is enough. You do get.
Oh, for
A thing.
Yes. Vile eruption.
Oh, yes! So when I die, I'll explode?
If you get dropped to 0 hit points, yes, you will.
Does that mean you die?
As a reaction, when you drop to 0 hit points, you will gain. It will explode out in a 5-foot radius. All targets will take poison damage equal to 1d8.
But your body doesn't explode, does it?
No. It's the energy will explode out.
Oh, they like,
He just goes,
raise up. Ew. Do that.
That is the end of
Work for me.
My turn.
their turn.
I'm gonna arrow him.
No, it's their turn. So they are gonna. The one is still attacking you, sir.
Let's go to
That is a 10. It just bats against you, just maddening, just like frustratingly trying to slap at you. That is the end of its turn. Theta, you're up, sir.
I'm gonna arrow him.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack. He is not restrained.
He's not.
13.
Hits.
Cool.
You would literally have to roll a natural 1 to miss.
Oh, cool.
For most of you, I
Him
think.
specifically.
Most of it.
I think. Well, his to hits plus 8, correct?
7.
7. Yeah, you would need to roll a
I
natural
do
1
not
to
have a
miss.
20. I don't have a 20 there.
Oh, that's.
Anybody that has a 7 or
18.
higher would have to roll a natural 1 to miss. So go ahead and roll your damages.
I'm just making sure I'm rolling the right thing.
Sneaker attack is activated.
Activate.
Sneak attack criteria met.
Got one.
Still cocked.
Okay. Whoa, that's nice.
Gets back.
Yeah.
That's a 25.
25 damage.
That's a nice set of rolls. Look at that.
Do stuff.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That one was almost another 6, but then it.
Yeah, I bumped it. Yeah. But you
Oh,
know, I
man.
rolled that dice.
You're extremely lucky.
That's right, I am.
I need I think it's just Ma.
Small
Yeah, just Ma within 5 feet. Go ahead and make your
thing.
your con save.
Oh, natural 1.
No.
Natural Uno. That's right. The D8 hasn't rolled. Well, as I say that,
Don't do that shit.
you take 7 points. Of poison.
That's how I got my arm broken.
Well, like I've been rolling 1s and 2s the whole
Okay,
the whole
like,
time.
Yeah,
got
I
your
know.
arm broken
Listen.
For throwing a lamp at somebody.
I know I got it there.
That's the
Not myself, but then that roll.
That's
I haven't
what
rolled that
happened.
much. It's on camera. I haven't rolled that much all night.
With that being said, combat is over. The thing drops to the ground, explodes into a viscous mass.
I get hurt.
Can I look at their clothing?
Sure.
I would like.
Whatever's left of it.
No. Oh, you mean? Oh, okay. I get it. I want to see what kind of clothing it is.
Okay. It seems to be standard peasant clothing made from like materials like linen and stuff.
Like.
It's
how-
old. It's
okay.
ancient. It like you can grab it and you can actually pull it apart.
Okay.
It's also kind of viscous and gross.
Ma, are you doing okay?
Ew.
No.
That's
Uh-oh.
gross. Are you feeling alright?
Am I feeling alright?
You are poisoned.
Oh, great.
I got something.
You could do that
Okay, well, I don't
downtime
have
activity
anything.
thing.
I don't have anything for poison, but how are you feeling physically?
You just feel like weakened, like tired.
So it's not a terrible, horrible rape poison.
No, it's like a.
Do you have a good number of hit points?
Yeah. 4? Did you
No.
just put a 4
You
up?
do not feel well? Alright, here.
You do
I
not
have
feel
been
the.
saving this, but I imagine it's important. And that is a basic healing potion. It's 2d4 plus 2.
Okay. You pop it.
Yes.
Okay, 2d4 plus 2. Go ahead and roll.
Is that your last potion?
Yes, it's the
Yeah.
last. I've been holding it forever.
You use yours.
I
shouldn't.
don't know if that's a good idea.
2. 2.
Okay.
2.
2. All right. So as you guys kind of reel, the cart seems to be in good condition for the most part, besides having a giant dent out of the side. The griffins seem to be
It's a
less
speed
panicked.
dent. It'll go faster.
It'll buff right out.
They seem to be less nervous now that the threat seems to be gone. But as you kind of like listen around,
No shambling, no bubbling, no excessive bubbling.
make a perception check if you'd like
Yeah,
to, please.
so. Did you say at advantage?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. I'm making sure. That's not bad. Is it be 23?
23. As you're looking around, you don't see anything initially menacing you. However, you get that eerie sense of being watched, and then from the distance you hear this.
In the direction we're trying to go?
No, it seems to be moving. It seems to be moving around you. Something is watching you, and you're not sure what.
Breathing creepily.
I don't want to alarm anyone, but there appears to be something in the mist that is following and paying attention to us, and it appears to be breathing, unlike these recently dead compatriots. And
Did the wolves breathe?
No.
No. No, they just popped. But there's something out there with breath that is labored breathing.
Can you
And,
hear wings?
no, not her breathing. I mean, I guess it could have been flapping, but I'm pretty familiar with what breathing sounds like. I don't do it often. But, I'll try to occasionally. It's fun sometimes.
That's how you whistle.
But,
You can't whistle
yeah.
without breath.
You don't need to whistle, breathe.
And it's, he was like, no, you can't do that because you can't
But,
Okay. What is the plan?
breathe.
I mean, we're not going back.
I want to press forward.
Do you want to press forward or do you want to
should you,
set up
forward.
a
should we
camp?
rest for a minute?
Press forward.
I'll rest. You want to take a brief rest?
I'll rest on the cart.
Perhaps a short one? Or take a yeah, that's a good plan.
What's
Put him
up?
on the rest. Go to sleep for 4 hours.
Yeah, you take a short rest on the
Yeah,
cart
he's
as you
gonna-
guys
He's
travel.
going to take a short rest in the cart.
I
and,
would like to take the hammer out.
Okay, so you grab out the sapphire hammer.
hold it like it's a penis.
Lou, look, I'm not that bad.
You shut up!
You
And
don't-
you feel better!
You
That's what I do.
All right, so
Put me down, Jesus.
you're gonna let
I'll
him.
be fine.
Which one are you
Just
using?
I'm doing.
Look at the bunnies, George.
Don't let him.
Not galvanized. I didn't write down what the other one
I'm
was.
too weak to stop you.
The one where I expend a hit dice.
Where you expend one,
Yes.
or where you let him expend one?
You can expend a hit die.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your hit die, and then he regains a health equal to that hit die rolled. So go ahead and mark it off that you are 1 hit die down.
Yes. Hold on. I will. Let me find the key. Where are you, bitches? Okay.
Roll.
Dude, I don't have anything.
Does it say you had anything? Because I'm pretty sure it should be just whatever your hit die
Plus
number.
your con modifier.
So there you go.
So 3. You get 4 points back.
Yay.
So you regain. As she said, "Shut up and feel better." You just see this brief moment where the hammer begins to, and it just kind of like releases this like almost like ethereal glow for a moment, and then you just start to feel a little bit better. Some of the wounds begin to close up a little bit, and you're like, "Oh yeah, you can do that."
So it's not even bash my head in.
How does that make you feel?
I misread this whole
I mean,
situation.
It would make him feel nothing, which arguably could be better.
Okay, so as you guys continue your journey through the swamps, through this sort of like strange landscape that almost seems,
I'm a mountain up on the hyena.
as you guys begin to travel further into the actual swamp itself, you begin to notice that the terrain begins to shift in heights. What it was originally kind of like this flat sort of like nothing starts to kind of change direction. There are parts where like trees are growing out almost like vertically along this or horizontally like up these like slopes that just kind of like end and go into like nothing, and then like the tree roots can be seen from the other side just gnarled into the ground, and these warped sort of willow-in type trees just cascade what looks to be hair just dangling in the water. But you guys continue to press inwards.
Is it staying swampy? Is it firming up? Is it getting wetter?
The topography, at least on the outside, seems to be more watery in, but it seems to get harder as you move inland, with the occasional puddles beginning to taper outwards.
So the Earth's a little more firm and less saturated, but we're still seeing the same amount of water.
Correct, and occasionally you still get those vent where randomly just pockets will open up and just this like dust shoots into the air, this like steam like vent that smells awful, but begins to. Oh yeah, holy shit! We are well.
Is time done?
That is time, ladies and gentlemen.
You're walking through the woods.
It's past
You're
time.
walking through
It's
the
swamp.
forest,
Swamp.
and your phone is dead.
Will I get?
Oh, good. So there's no
short
time
rest?
loss. They only
You will
have
get a
one.
short rest.
Okay, I'll use
Natural one.
You're dressed in
And a
strange
10.
clothing.
So 11 plus whatever your con is.
so 5 and 14.
Yes.
What'd you do?
He's expending hit dice. I will end as you guys are kind of like rolling in. You can hear this like
It's trying.
just getting like louder, and then you're the first one to notice with your passive perception. You hear this sort of like sound.
No, what?
Does it sound like it's close?
It sounds like whatever it is moving in and out.
Oh, I know what I have.
They're like moving in, and they're moving closer and then backing up, almost like they're trying to gauge when to leap out. That is going to be the end of our game session today.
Actually, I really want to end it on a really bad horror movie note.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to kind of lean towards the sound from the back of my hand and go, hello?
No, fucking way. You did not say no.
I did.
Oh, God.
As you say hello, there's a brief moment where like everything stops, and then you just hear this like.
Do we all hear that?
yeah, it begins to get louder.
Tommy, is that you?
And then, what languages do you speak?
I speak deep speech.
Languages do you speak?
Elvish.
Exotic. Just give me exotic languages. Deep
Modron.
speech. Modron.
Elvish, Dwarvish, Gnomish, Deep Skin.
Okay. No one understands, but you hear this sort of like, just like this braying sort of sound, as whatever it is begins to like. You just see these horns come up from the sort of like foggy under just like covering, and as its head comes up, you see these two sideways eyes just peering at you, just glowing voluminously in the darkness,
Like a
No, it's
goat
Baphomet.
wig, or like
Yeah. like a big ass goat.
Goat man, dude.
like a quote unquote
Big ass goat. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. I hope you guys enjoyed. Due to some scheduling, we have to end, unfortunately. Maybe someday we'll have that adjusted. We can play as long as we want. But thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thanks to the guys that followed. We definitely appreciate the 2 people that followed, and the sub that subbed at the beginning. We do have a sub-only Discord and a follower Discord. If you're interested in the follower Discord, that is in the description link of the channel. Feel free to jump on there whenever. We're always on there. And then there is a sub-only Discord that we spend a lot of time in. We're always checking and stuff like that. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to do that. But that's it. We will be back next Monday for either some Monster Hunter or something else. We've been discussing doing some other stuff as well. So we will see, depending on what the update schedule looks like for Monster Hunter. If there's any new content, we might tackle that. Otherwise, no.
A really quick question. When I did the hammer thing, did the atmosphere change at all, or did anything happen when I did the healing thing to him?
Make a perception check.
Fuck.
Here, you want a dice?
No, I don't trust any of your dices.
Okay. Well, with that being said,
I don't want you rolling by dice.
we will be back.
Case in point.
We will be back next Tuesday for sure, though, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the continuation of this campaign. And we are rolling into the Halloween episode, which I think is proper, considering we're spending time in this sort of Martian terrain.
Spooky swamps.
Spooby Swamp. All right, guys. So we'll see you next time. We will be in the chat for a little bit longer as we do teardown and stuff like that. So if you have any questions or you want to just shoot the shit, feel free to put it in there. Sometimes we do talk back, but recently we haven't really had time. So in the future, that might come back for a little bit. So we will see you guys next time. No. Yeah, for Soul Roast and my friends here. So bye.
Run away.
Andy, what is your hit die?
10.
A D10? Oh,